Right, hello everyone. So, doing another one of these today. This is going to be a little bit different today. I had an idea to do a stream where I just kind of have a look at reviews of whiskey, gin, glassware, whatever. I thought it'd be a bit of fun, and I first of all have to apologise to a couple of people because I made a mistake yesterday. So a few people might have been expecting this yesterday. There's a reason I made that mistake. It wasn't a deliberate mistake because that is obviously not what a mistake is. The stupid little thing. Scheduling in the world of video creation is a great thing. Unfortunately, do you know what? I'm just going to change the layout for this for a second while I'm like talking, and then we'll like swap back into because I'm not happy with any of these layouts, but this is better than that. So when you're scheduling on YouTube, it automatically defaults to tomorrow. When you're scheduling on StreamYard, it automatically defaults to today. I forgot that, and I was like, oh, it'll already do tomorrow, so I just need to set the time, and bing, bang, bosh. And about 20 minutes later, I was like, hang on, that says today. Whoops. So if anyone got a notification saying that this was yesterday, I apologize. And then you were like, where's it gone? Yeah, so sorry about that. Anyway, with that out of the way, so today we're going to be looking at some Amazon reviews and also some Master Malt ones as well. It's this screen sharing McGubbins is a little bit tricky, so we'll start off with the Amazon one for now, and I'll basically go through kind of like what people have to say. Now then, the focus of this is I'm going to be reviewing like the 1 and 2 star reviews. Now you might be saying, well, that's not very fair. Here's the thing. You will struggle to find, at least in, the spirit store, certainly, you'll struggle to find anything that doesn't have like 4, 4.5, 5 stars. So pretty much everything I'm going to be talking about today is, generally speaking, high rated. But a lot of that is just, the same thing over and over again. Plus, a lot of these companies do buy reviews these days. It's a thing. At the end of the day, they want to make money. So, reputation is a thing. So, yeah, I'm just going to be reading the bad ones. This is an attempt at humor. Will it be successful? Who knows? I do actually have a whiskey tonight. We'll talk about that now, actually, because I'm drinking out of a tumbler again, because it's Sunday. It's actually not one whiskey; it's a blend. I've done a glass blend, and I've committed absolute sacrilege. The last of my Kilkerman Amburrock from last year, and I've blended that with a bit of Nucnean. I've not been scientific about it. I've just chucked the two in, and I'm kind of seeing what happens. I'm in a fuck it and see what happens kind of a mood. Now then, with this as well, I'm going to do some of this off my own steam. However, I openly encourage people to make suggestions. If there's a particular whiskey that you want to see, what people's reactions were of it, let me know. But yeah, this is the entire format. I am reading off of Amazon reviews, so strap in, lads. Oh yeah, those two have married together very nicely. Right, I'm a genius if I do say so myself. So I'm going to go on to the Amazon tab. Can you see me scrolling? Because I'm out of my deck now. Yeah, that's working. Cool. This is all new. So what should we start with? Where should we go? Do you know what? Let's go with Tamnavulin. Let's have a look at Tammy. There it is. Ain't it pretty? Speyside single. Made by our friends over at White Mackay. That's one of their products. 4,833 ratings, 4.5 stars there in the reviews. 79% 5 stars, only 1% 1 star, and 1% 2 star. So most people actually liked this. I'm not sure if I've had the double cask. I think I've had one of the red wine finishers because we had it in Malta back when I was holidaying with some friends, and we were like, "Oh, get a whiskey," and we just there was a few of us that we like our whiskeys, and we're like, "We'll have a holiday whiskey, one we don't have to think too much about," and we didn't finish it. There was still some left over at the end of the week, and maybe that's not that weird, I suppose, but there was like 8 of us, and about 4 of us were, quite happy whiskey drinkers, but no, just no. But anyway, that's just by the by. So let's go into reviews. Scrolly. Right, let's see what we've got. So let's go with 1 star. Let's see what people had to say. So, Sergey on the 14th of September 2020. 1 star, too harsh and simple tasting. I am not a big whiskey specialist, and I have bought Glenlivet Founders Reserve and this one, both for roughly the same money. Glenlivet was very good. Disagree, but okay. This one was not. Can be okay for those who love peat whiskey, as it's somewhat similar, harsh and bitter taste. Okay, so just didn't like it, I suppose. That's generally what you do when you give a 1-star review. Whenever you give something a 1-star review as well, it's a very visceral reaction, isn't it? Like, I strongly disliked this, and I want to tell the world about it. Another one, best to avoid. This is back in 2019. This is one of the cheapest single malts on the market, and thought of giving a try, but just as the price tag, the whiskey is also of cheap quality. There's 2 reviews on the trot now that have used the American spelling of whiskey. It's also of cheap quality. A single malt without any specific flavour, good to avoid. Opened it with friends and was only embarrassed and had to move to another one. There are blended and other known brands at this price tag which are far better. And 2 people found this helpful. Yeah, from my own experiences with Tavernavulin recently, that particular review resonates with me. Only good for mixing, unfortunately. At a reduced price of £17, down from £35, I thought this would be decent. Turns out, it's not good. It has a Bell's type of nose, and taste doesn't get much better. Slight fruit at finish, which is short anyway. Okay. Cool. This person sounds like quite the whiskey drinker anyway. Normally when you do see those like really steep reductions, I mean, there is an economic theory that, people associate cost with quality, and it's not always necessarily the case. I think something known as the Chivas Regal effect, which is mostly gossip and hearsay from what I can tell from that idea. But it's the idea that, when something is suspiciously cheap, it's usually for a reason. It's normally, the get what you pay for kind of a thing. I've definitely proven that false in the past. There are some like genuine hidden gems out there, but there are also these ones where it's just like, it's no fucks were given that day kind of a product. This one is interesting. False advertisement. This is 100% blended whiskey. Definitely not a single malt whiskey. Single malts are supposed to be smooth. This is rough. Not good value for money at all. Very disappointing. Okay, right. So I mean, obviously this person's quite junior when it comes to whiskey, and they've got a very particular idea of what qualifies a single malt. You can get a shit single malt. It does happen. White Mackay are actually very good at churning them out. But yeah, there's also some very good blended whiskey. So that's a bit of a shame that there's been that conflagration there. But the point being that this did not match her expectations in any way, shape, or form. Just because it's a single malt whiskey, it's not necessarily a notion of good quality. Krabby's Yardhead is another good example of that, actually. Actually, that was one that I thought that was a blend, because I was like, this can't be. So I've actually been there. I've done that myself, where I'm like, that's a single malt, so it can't be. Because I was just surprised that it could get that bad. But yeah, this one's interesting. 1 star. Bottle was opened. It came opened. I just guess what is inside. There's actually a picture here. Okay. There's no picture of like the fill, so they don't know themselves. I don't see why they would. Actually, there's another one here. Loose lid seal. The bottle came with a very loose seal. It came off too easily just by pulling the cork lid. A complaint was made to the company, but it's extremely inadequate and late answer from them. I will never again get any of their products. Do not recommend to anyone. Okay. So nothing to do with the whiskey there. It's just the fact that the manufacturing's a bit naff. That's a really bit of an overreaction. It's quite a childish reaction, really, isn't it, to something that is arguably a relatively minor part of the experience. You know, the seal came off too easily. You know, it's not even saying that it fell off. It's just, you know, with a minimal amount of exertion, it came off. That's a very bizarre reaction to have. But okay, fair enough. I've got another one here. Not worth it. This is a terrible whiskey, again with that American spelling. I think we're going to see this a lot, aren't we? I'm perplexed why I bought it in the first place and blame myself for that. But if you're into whiskey, this could put you off of whiskey, like it happened to me. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? Cheap and nasty whiskies scaring people off. Every category has its sort of its dark horses, and they normally are at the forefront of, you know, we won't say cheap, we'll say affordable, you know, cheap and nasty whiskies in a lot of cases. Again, White Mackay's speciality. Yeah, so this is one of those ones that, you know, many people will probably look at and be like, oh, wow, okay, you know, I've heard of Tamnaville and they look quite good. You know, it's got quite an attractive label, it's quite good colour, mostly caramel at this point. But yeah, definitely one of those ones that can scare people off. It's a shame as well, actually, because I know both through experience and through colleagues telling me Tamnaville used to be a lot better. I mean, we've had this conversation with a few malts before, but where I work, we have a Tamnaville from the 70s. It's £100 a dram. And one of our colleagues loves trying vintage malts, and he was in with his girlfriend, and they were like, right, we'll get one of those. I think it was like a birthday treat or something like that. And they compared it to a modern Tamnaville we had on the bar, and they were like, they're so far apart from each other, it's a practical joke. You know, the 70s one was like, you know, rich and sherried and wonderful. You know, they were adoring it. They said it was one of the favourite whiskies they'd ever tried. And then the modern one was just totally different. You know, not even a shadow of its former self. There was nothing of its former self in there. I've just popped back over to my sort of StreamYard tab for the moment. So I just want to see if there's any comments come in. There's a couple come in so far, so I'll just get those up. Ian John suggesting the obligatory Lafroig, of course. Unsure if Mellicorn is available, but bad reviews would be a hilarious counterpoint to a review, I'm sure. I mean, where do you think I got it from? There will be reviews of Amazon, of Mellicorn on Amazon. So yeah, I'm curious to see what people's take are on that one. Actually, I will get that one done. And good evening, James. Right, like I said, keep the comments coming if you have any particular requests. I'm planning on being here for a few hours, so also pending my throat falling out. Oh, actually, I should switch over to. There we go. Can you see that better now? I should have done that earlier. Right. So, actually, I can go full screen. Is that better? You can still hear me, but you can't see me, so I can like pick my nose and stuff. Oh, good rubbish. Yeah, there we go. That's the stuff. Okay, right. So, right here. This is where we're up to, wasn't it? Natalie Nicol. Awful. All capitals, 3 exclamation marks. 4th September 2020. White whiskey? Really? What? White whiskey? What are you on about here? What happened here? Hang on. Yeah, I see what they've done here. So what they've obviously done is pulled it off. Because I mean, one of the reviews previously mentioned, you know, it came off quite easily. You can see where they've like tried to get it back on. It's like really crinkled up. You wouldn't get that in normal manufacturing. So, you know, nice little joke, but or possibly trying to get their money back, which, to be fair, even if they hadn't done that, probably still worth trying anyway. Very bad aftertaste. I'm not a fan, which is a shame, as I usually love Speyside whiskies. I couldn't smell or taste any of the flavours advertised. Imagine if you bought a consignment of Bell's / Teacher's Blended, parentheses cheap whiskey, added a burnt oak flavouring to it, and poured in a cup of salt. That is what Tamnavulin tasted and smelled like to me. This is the first time actually that we've got, I mean, you know, even quite sarcastic, but any real tasting notes. Up until this, it's just been blech, ugh, or the seal came off, I'm never buying them again. Yeah, there's not been much in the way of, like, you know, why it tasted bad. It was just, you know, this wasn't nice, I didn't like it. Whereas that one's actually gone into a little bit of detail. The salt thing's interesting, actually. Poured in a cup of salt, that's heavy. That's really heavy. I think I remember when we tried Townsville, it wasn't this one, it was a red one. I think it was like a Rioja finish or something like that. I can't remember. We got it in the airport, so it was whatever their travel retail one is. I can't imagine they knock out a lot of them. Yeah, there was something nail polishy about it, and yeah, it was kind of sort of wet cardboard and stuff. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And here we are, gift message. I'm sure the product is excellent. It was a gift and a message should have been included. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It's very embarrassing when you have to ask if a gift was received. Yeah, I've been there, actually. Particularly this year, you know, sending some stuff to people and being like, oh, has anything arrived yet? And like, yeah, bills. And like, okay. No, okay. Right. Harsh, bad aftertaste. Avoid. The nose was promising, but the taste ruined it all. Harsh, very aggressive alcohol taste. Bitter oak lacks the character and the typical smoothness. There is no finish, just a burning taste in your mouth. This is really a Speyside at its worst. To be used in cocktails or on a lot of rocks. Certainly don't drink it neat at room temperature. Avoid. There are better choices at the price range. Again with Glenlivet Founders Reserve, Auchentoshan American Oak, or miles better choices, Abelard 10-year-old, or slightly more expensive ones, Abelard 12 or Strathala 12. Big fan of the Abelards, fair enough. And they just finish off by saying that this was a waste of money. Oh, I've just seen the title for the next one, so that's harsh. I'm just going to have another whiskey sip, excuse me. Oh, this one's funny. 1 star, Christmas present, and it just says, I cannot review this as it was a Christmas present. Interestingly, oh yeah, no, they have left their name. So it's quite funny. So whoever bought that for them, I mean, you still made it plain that it was horrible because you've left 1 star and then said, I can't say anything about it. Oh, I love that. 5 people found this helpful. Presumably people buying Christmas presents for whiskey lovers like, right, don't get this then, cool. Oh, I've got one in German, so I can't read it. Veris, Echelhaft, so muss ein Mischung aus Lackenferne und, oh no, Getriebiol schmecken. Oh, translate review to English. That would be useful, wouldn't it? Here we go. Outline. Disgusting. So a mixture of paint remover and gear oil must taste. Okay, so clumsy translate. I think what it's trying to say is what gear oil and paint remover must taste like. Okay. Another comment come up. Did Bladdock do their giveaway and who won? Waiting to hear back, actually. Last I heard, because Will's been in pretty constant contact, and he said, you know, there's been a lot of people sort of taking up the offer. A lot of people using code MOMO. Thank you. If anyone's not privy to that, by the way, you've got a few days to enter a giveaway where you can get a signed bottle of. Hang on, I'm not on screen, so I don't know why I'm flashing that up. Hold on. There I am. Signed bottle of Bladnoch Vinaya, and a couple of glasses as well. I'm not sure if they're going to be the Glencairns, like the the tulip ones, or like the crystal rock glasses. I'm not sure yet. I imagine the Glencairns, but you never know. Either way, you know, more glassware. I mean, Glencairns aren't cheap. I know, working in the pub trade and having had lots of them stolen by unscrupulous tourists, they're not cheap. Right, back to the interesting bit. So yeah, they have not done the draw yet. So there'll be a few more days to get that in. I mean, we did the live stream on Monday, so probably give it until the end of Monday and then hear back. You've got to bear in mind as well, you know, they're on a different time zone than us. So, you know, our Sundays are their Mondays, that kind of a thing. They're quite far in advance. Right. So we said we were going to do Mellocorn, didn't we? So that would be good. So let's go there. Mellocorn. Nice reasonable price at the moment. Last purchase on the 27th of March. Oh no, my information, no. I love that. Subscribe and save for Whisky. Like, okay. Only 4 left in stock. Ooh. I should get commission for this shit, Jesus. Right, C2 ratings, 4 stars, but the 1 star this time, higher percentage, 4%. Let's have a look at that. Sorry, no reviews for your current selection. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You said that there are. Are you being stupid? Is that what? 1 star, 2 global ratings, no. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, let's go 62 ratings instead. Am I going to have to scroll through these manually to find them instead? Because I'm probably not going to do that. See all reviews. It's still saying there's 1-star reviews. And then it says that there aren't any. All critical reviews. Here we go. Okay, so we'll go critical reviews instead because apparently there are 1-star ones, but there aren't because I don't know. Okay, that's weird. Here's a nice big lengthy one for us. I thought their new make was dung flavored and they call it hay. Just hide that. I've not actually tried their new make yet. So I'm interested. Dung doesn't sound like the best tasting note for that though. Mo, don't scratch the carpet. You've got a scratching board. Go over there. Right. So, like a bourbon with most of the flavors removed. Ouch. What does it look like? Now, a lot has been said in other reviews, mostly negative, about what this bottle and its plastic cap in particular look like, and I must admit, it does indeed look cheap. That's because it is. Yet very cheerful. I actually like its appearance, so it's bright, colourful and eye-catching. In fact, it wouldn't look out of place in a Speedy Gonzales cartoon. Again, concur. I could also see it in the Mexican section of a supermarket next to the chili sauces for under $1 or £1 in the UK. Having said that, the liquid inside is a beautiful, enticing golden colour, presumably a consequence of it having been aged in bourbon barrels. What does it smell like? Not surprisingly, on the nose, the first thing I noticed was the sweet and pleasant aroma of distilled corn. Then some alcohol, which gives it 100%, which given its 100% proof rating is not surprising. I also detected some popcorn, sourdough starter, and more than a hint of nail polish remover. Overall, quite pleasing, really. Ooh, this guy's good. I like this person. What does it taste like? In order to provide a level playing field, I tasted this in the same manner I use with bourbons and ryes. A double shot poured over 1 cube of ice and then allowed to sit for a minute or two before taking a sip. This guy's got methodology and everything. I'm loving it. Unlike other commentators, I did not find this liqueur harsh, burning, or astringent. I found it very smooth, especially considering its strength. Not unpleasant at all. Obviously copious amounts of corn, some popcorn, and ... Well, not much else. I don't know what I was expecting, but that's about it. Perhaps after receiving a bottle of Balcones Bay Blue, a very fine corn whiskey from Texas, for my birthday last year and loving it beyond all of the bottles of spirit I tried in 2020, I was praying for something similar at a fraction of the price. It wasn't to be. Imagine an inexpensive but acceptable quality bourbon with most of the flavours removed. To me, that's what Mellocorn is. Value for money at £30 or so? Not quite. If British supermarkets stock this, I would expect to see it on sale for about 20, next to the budget or on offer bourbons, preferably on the top shelf, away from young children who undoubtedly find the packaging most attractive. I just need to find some cocktails or a mixer that will work with it. My word, that's a review and a half. I love it. Whoever this Carl Abernethy fella is, does he have a pro? Is this weird? Carl Abernethy, 23 helpful votes, 21 reviews. And he's reviewed stuff like a Whetstone, Skull Candy Barricade. Took 12 years to make. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Okay, so no other whiskey reviews, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest, because he's very good at them. I'm more than a little bit nervous. Also, review of ranking 1,263. Deserves more than that, surely. Anyway, not the relevant bit, but I don't even know if you could see that, actually, because that was a separate tab, wasn't it? So you were probably wondering what the hell I was reading just then. That's a hell of a review. I really like that. Back in here, let's get some more comments. Could be that the one-star reviews didn't have a written review accompanying it. That could be it, actually. That makes a lot of sense. That makes that this man speaks sense and truth, possibly. Needs sherry cask in to make it palatable. The new make. Fair enough. They did. Will did say, to be fair, it wasn't a product that they originally sold, but when they did tours, people were like, can we get some? So they decided to release some. New make's a weird beast. New make's a very strange beast. I tried some of the Lindor's Abbey new make. That was delightful. That was the thing that kind of got me onto Lindor's. I was like, oh, if the new make's this good, I wonder what the whiskey's going to be like. They've released their first whiskey, but it's for their super exclusive club that's like £500 to join. I didn't have the money to do that, much as I wanted a bottle of it. And they also acknowledged that nobody's going to fucking open them because they've given everyone a miniature of it alongside the main bottle, so you can keep the bottle to be flogged later on and recoup your investment. Amazon would be the last place I would ever get whiskey reviews from. Well, I mean, I'm thinking I might transfer over to Master of Malt later on, but I thought Amazon would be a nice, approachable start. So I might do the first hour Amazon, then change over to Master. Might ping over to different ones. I've had a look at a couple of websites actually. Let's go here for a second. I have had a look at a couple of different websites. Some of them are a bit hit and miss. Amazon, pretty consistently you find reviews. Same with Master of Malt as well. Places like the Whisky Exchange, it's potluck whether a whiskey actually has any reviews at all. And yeah, so I've sort of discluded that one, but I mean, we can have a look, certainly. If anyone has any recommendations for other websites to check out as well, to mine for commentaries, I know Whiskey Base could be an option, but I thought that might be getting kind of like a bit too far down the rabbit hole. Because I kind of hope to do a few more of these because they're fun, they're a bit of fun, if nothing else. I believe they don't chart their barrels for mellow. I believe you're correct. There was actually a fine fellow that left a very detailed response on the video. I pinned that, so I certainly checked that out. They basically went into the entire production process, which I didn't really do. So yeah, I could take the weekend off and give the channel over to them, I think. I think they'd be in better hands. But if you take them with a grain of salt, you can sometimes see patterns amongst them, which can be helpful. But you're right, it is mostly nonsense, to be fair, which is part of the reason why this isn't, I mean, it's not a particularly serious live. It's more just to kind of see, if there's any gems. The idea behind this is like, there are funny Amazon reviews out there for like, products where people are clearly taking the piss, like condoms and stuff like that. And I thought, well, does that apply over to whiskey? Mixed bag so far, but I'm intrigued to see. The 1492, the Lucky Lindors, yeah. I'm sure they'll be doing a release, for the common man later in the year. I hope so, anyway, because I've still got a couple of the samples on the on the back from when they did their in progress tasting last year. It's actually one of only 2 whiskey tastings I've done during lockdown, the other one being Balvenie. Does the WSET count? Not really, no, because that was like Bacardi products and stuff like that. But yeah, where was I going with this? Yeah, so I've kept a hold of some Lindor samples, just because I will drink them all once I have a bottle of Lindors, I think is how I'm going with that. Right, more mellow corn. Cheap and cheerful at a higher price. In the USA, this is a cheap and cheerful bourbon drank mostly for its high proof and low price. Sort of the Buckfast of the USA. Oh, hang on, I've not changed screens back over, have I? Silly me. There we go. I'm good at this. The flavors are aggressive but not unpleasant, mostly tasting of candy corn. Never tried it. Sold in the UK at what seems like an inflated price is not worth it for anyone other than the most adventurous of whiskey drinkers. Yeah, which was me. I was fascinated by this stuff for a while. It got mentioned in a video that I was watching, I think about 6 months ago, and I just remember that garish label and being like, oh, I want to get my hands on that. I want some of that. But for a while, I was just like, well, the price is so much higher. And that's because, you know, it's sort of imported specially, as opposed to, you know, things like Wild Turkey 101, where, you know, they have more of a trade relationship, I think is how that one works. I'm not big up on that, unfortunately, but yeah, it's not inexpensive to get your hands on, unfortunately, which is a shame. I mean, I sound like I'm being funny when I say this, but it was between this or Wild Turkey 101, and I chose the mellow corn because I thought it would be a bit of fun. Because everyone says that Wild Turkey 101 is good. I'm not sure if you need another voice for that, to be fair. Will I do it anyway? Probably. Reviewing the United Kingdom. Different to any other whiskey I know. Never tasted corn whiskey before. Too sweet and syrupy for my palate, even with a dry ginger mixer. Also a bit pricey. The yellow plastic screw top sums it all up. Pleased I've tried it though, but it's back to bourbon and rye for me. Not much of a fan. And then we've got a 2-star here. Good grief, harsh. Good grief, each to their own, etc. I can drink pretty much anything, chilled meths included. Oh, hi Big Clive. But this is harsh stuff. My simple palate did not get any of the mellow, buttery flavours. A prominent whiskey reviewer noted, yes, it is strong at 50% ABV, but you might expect 1 or 2 other bits and pieces to come through. Not for me, just raw alcohol. I think you can safely assume that this will be produced from the finest GM corn as well. I hadn't thought of that. I don't have much of an issue with genetically modified foods because I think people think that, you know, there's some sort of ungodly thing going. I mean, people don't really have an issue with like crossbreeding, you know, or selective breeding for like fruits and animals and stuff like that. It's a more scientific approach to that in respect. Right. That's all the critical ones for mellow corn. What's your go-to in these days? What is my go-to whiskey at the minute? I've got so much. I'm not bragging. Well, I'm kind of bragging, aren't I? I'm quite lucky. I've been really hammering into the Glenallachie 12, most recent release. Beautiful colour, beautiful whiskey. What else have I got on the shelves, actually? I couldn't call Ben Nevis 10 an everyday, just because it is not easy to get your hands on. Yeah, I'd have to go with Glenallachie, or I mean, I've been hammering through the Bladnoch. That's not just because obviously, you know, I've been doing some stuff with them recently. You know, I mean, that happened because I like Bladnoch. So I have had companies like approach me and stuff. I think one of the most notable ones was White Claw. And they're like, hey, we want to do a you know, and they offered to, you know, do like sponsorship deals and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't even respond to it because it was so obvious that they hadn't even taken the time to see if I'd already done White Claw, which I had, and I tore it a new one. So you know, I didn't think. Well, I mean, obviously it's you know it's disingenuous because it's just kind of like you know I'm turning around and be like, hey, you know that product I said was shit 6 months ago. Well, now because they're paying me, it's great. You know, it's nah. I'm liking bourbon for its comforting mouthfeel in small sips. Amazon have JD SB barrel, proof 54 pounds. It's a buy in my mind, plus gives good banana. Great one for banana, actually. A similar price point. Bren, French whiskey. That gives lots of banana. If you're a big fan of banana, then oh hell. And caramel flavors as well. I'll have to give that a go at some point, actually. I've been meaning to get into some more JDs. We'll be interested to see if Nika sells Ben Nevis with changes being made in Japan. I'm hoping they will, to be honest, because Ben Nevis has such an interesting signature. It's one of those ones where you could pick it out if you wanted to, because it is. If you know kind of like you know what you're looking for, which is this weird kind of like Genevieve malt backbone that it's got. Yeah, I hope it gets released because it's not of much use to them now unless they just started churning out more Ben Nevis, which I mean they could sell, you know, but I'm not sure that they would. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I would like to see it kind of like, you know, return to more caring hands, I suppose, because at the minute they are just used sort of, you know, as a commodity more than anything else, which is a bit of a shame. Because having spoken to a couple of the people that work there, you know, they do actually care about what they're making. Seeing as we're on bourbon, should we go for the monkey mark, Maker's Mark 46? Go with that. Why not? Make sure to keep suggestions and stuff coming in. You know, if there's a particular one that you want me to read out, then do let me know. Lots of lovely pictures. Yay. All right. 1,292 ratings. Oh my. Right. 1 star is 1%. Mostly 5 star, 4 star. I've heard some good things about the 46, to be fair. So, encouraged. Oh, here we go. Right. Right. So, our first one is from an Ian A. Waterston. Found this unpalatable. Very poor. Tasted it. Tastes as if it had been matured in old trainers. I rate Ordinary Maker's Mark highly, but this was a huge disappointment. Matured in old trainers. I mean, you know, that's a finishing option, I suppose, isn't it? Now, I mean, you know, you can't have staves, but there's nothing said about knackered old shoes. Disappointed. Was really looking forward to this, but I can't stand it. Too woody and smoky. Smoother going down, but taste in mouth is awful. Okay, so quite. That's interesting. Too woody. Huh. Not quite sure what to make of that, really. Yeah, that's a bit of a bizarre one. Okay. No taste. Compared to Kentucky Single Barrel, this is cheap stuff. Not worth even 10. I'm assuming they mean £10. Oh, got another one I'm going to have to translate. That was probably nothing. I like to drink scotch and rum, but also bourbon, but so far only mixed. This should be my first pure bourbon, and I guess that was a handle. What? I guess that was a handle in the bathroom. Okay, is that like a saying? The nose is good and promising. In taste, nothing comes, and in the end, a strong bitterness. Promised me sweet and vanilla, just like it's in the nose. Bought in the offer, too bad enough, but in full price, completely overpriced. Maybe to mix okay. Okay. General consensus there being avoid, I suppose. Again, it's interesting to see kind of like, these people that are reacting poorly to them. Because, like I said, the vast majority of these have overwhelmingly positive reviews. So it's interesting to kind of fixate on what it was that people disliked about these. Another one I'm going to have to translate, this time from French. Nul. They sent a bottle of the same brand, but of a lower quality for the same price of the other. Deceived or clever? What? They sent a bottle of the same brand? Are they meaning that they sent regular Maker's Mark instead of the 46? Strange. Okay. And that's all of them. That's all the negative reviews for the 46. Just out of curiosity, actually, seeing, on balance. We'll read a positive. So we've got, this is quite possibly my favourite bourbon. It is a complete 50-50 between this and JD Single Barrel. That keeps coming up, doesn't it? That's interesting. I've tried about 15 different quality bourbons, and this is one that sticks in my mind the most. The only other bourbon I've purchased more than this one is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Treat and Bullet Everyday Treat. I'm a fan of Bullet myself, actually. I quite like them. I'm currently drinking JD Single Barrel as I'm typing this, but currently thinking about my Maker's Mark 46. Would and will buy again as soon as the missus isn't looking. Healthy relationships. Okay, cool. But as you can see, the vast majority is good reviews. Quick look on comments again. Bogdan, my last 3 American whiskey purchases were all Texas whiskey. 1 corn whiskey, 1 bourbon, and 1 rye. All of them pot still. Suggestion, something from Balcones. Is it the blue corn? Or it's blue something, and it's a corn whiskey. I'm not very up on my American whiskies. I've been trying to get a little more into them. Yeah, I've been meaning to get my hands on that. Master Malt also actually did an indie bottling of Mellow Corn. It's not called Mellow Corn, obviously, because that's a brand name and they can't use it. But they took a corn whiskey from Heaven Hill. So I mean, it's just it is the Mellow Corn, but aged 9 years instead of the usual 4. So I'd be intrigued to try that out at some point. Excuse my spelling, but it makes me sad when we can't do exchanges of Scotch. Both sides of the pond are getting shafted. Yeah, it's not good times. Yeah, alcohol has always been an easy thing to stick tariffs on and just make a fuck ton of money off of. It's not easy being a distiller or a brewer or anything like that, because you just used all of the time by whatever the prevailing government is. You're just seen as a money spinner to them at the end of the day. If you go under, well, there'll always be somebody else, because nobody ever went broke on drugs. Yeah, they did, but you get my point. Baby Blue, that was its name. Okay. All right. I'll have to give that a look. I actually need to finally make use of my Patreon cash. I've just been accumulating it for as long as I've had the Patreon. I've not actually used it yet. So I need to actually get a list together and make a purchase at some point. That might be one. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to do one that I like. So we'll go Glengoyne 10. You can tell I like this because I think I actually bought this for my dad, if memory serves. I think I did. Yeah, I don't think this was for me. I don't remember having it anyway. I would have thought I would have reviewed it. It's currently on 26 quid, if anyone's interested, down from 36. Not 37, 99. So, yeah, fill your boots, 11 quid off, lads. 608 ratings, 4.5 stars. Let's see what we've got. Yep. So again, 1 star, 1%. There's some 2 stars as well. No reviews matching current selection. So let's go top critical instead. And there's a few. Right. Not as good as expected. I tried the mini 5 centilitre version and was excited, so I decided to get a bottle. I was not enthusiastic at all with the bottle I got on Amazon. It tasted like a common blended whiskey. I would not recommend, although I am not an expert. I really enjoy something smoky, peated like Ardbeg or Lafroig, or something smooth like Cardew, but not this one. Okay, so I think that one more comes down to personal taste. It was strange that they tried a mini and they liked it, but then when they got the bottle, they didn't. That's curious. Huh, okay, that's I don't know, maybe it's one of those ones that would have done better with a bit of air or something, but yeah, also they did mention, they're more for their smoke or their... Is it fair to say Cardew's flavourless? It's pretty flavourless. A great product shown about the delivery. After visiting the distillery, we were keen to order a bottle to confirm this tastes wonderful. It's just a shame that the lovely bottle tin it comes in was so badly dinked, the lid would not even close properly. I'm sure it was just a delivery problem, but the Amazon box it came in seemed to be undamaged. Strange. I've actually had a lot of luck when it comes to liquor delivery. I've not had anything that's been smashed up, which fortunate actually. Normally liquor deliveries, because of their very nature, glass and quite delicate, they're normally bubble wrapped, or they've got those like cool air pockety things. Kind of looks like an overgrown Dalek gun on the outside. Not the best, but drinkable. This is a lightweight single malt, suitable for people that drink occasionally. True whiskey connoisseur will not be impressed. Disagree. Good for the price, but there are many similar price with more substance. Okay, not interestingly enough. Even though that was a relatively negative review, still gone 3 stars. So middle of the road for them. Okay starter. It's pleasant enough, but lacks any real discerning tastes. How dare you? Glengoyne 10. A basic, simple tasting dram, easily forgettable. Well, I've not forgotten your Glengoyne 10. Flavour is a bit too sweet for me, but still a nice dram. These reviews are all over the place. It's either it's flavourless 1 minute and then it's too sweet. Yeah. There are better Glengoynes. I mean, well, yeah. Not as smooth or as rich as Burnfoot. What the fuck is Burnfoot? What? Sounds like a condition. Comments, let me know what on earth is Burnfoot? That sounds like some kind of horrible thing you get when you've been out in the sun too long. Oh, speaking of which, cheap when on offer. I wouldn't buy again though. Well, more for the rest of us, I suppose. I'm a big fan of Glengoyne. I first got into Glengoyne through a Douglas Lang. It was an 8-year-old, part of the single-minded range, and I was like, oh, this is nectar. But I'm also very partial to a sherry whiskey, so that makes sense. And last one here, Glengoyne single malt. This was a present to my brother in the UK. He advised that he has only had a small nip, and it seems to be okay, so I really can't comment further at this stage. That is the definition of neutral right there. It was also written back in 2014. So it will have changed a little bit just through its nature, really. Okay. Interesting. I don't know why I'm getting advertised for drums all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on here. Let's have a look at some more comments. You might want to blur your address in the replay. Oh no. Oh no. I shall do that. Oopsie daisy. I'm building some rapport with the US streams and will front some cash for the right bottles. Fair enough. Right, so right, what else shall we look at? Let's do the Virgin Oak, actually. Virgin Oak's a fun one. Well, actually, do we mean up here? Because that's not my address, interestingly enough. That's not even close to my address. That's completely the wrong postcode. So if that's what it is, then yeah, we don't need to worry, because whoever that is, it ain't me. Who the hell's EH2? I think it's just going off of what it thinks my location is, isn't it? So yeah, if that was what you meant, then that is not my address, so it doesn't matter. Deans and Virgin Oak, £33.52. Mostly positive ratings. I was quite sniffy when I first saw this. I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But actually, I've heard good things about it, so curious to see if. Oh yeah, 2%. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, a single review, but it's a doozy. Awful liquid, avoid this whiskey. And then it's just written again, awful liquid, avoid this whiskey. Well, short and sweet. Right, let's move on to something else. Let's do Singleton. Singleton's a bit of fun, isn't it? Right, 22 quid. It doesn't give a distinct. Oh no, Dufftown Distillery. It's difficult to get your hands on any Dufftown or Glen Ord. Singleton really is the only way to get your hands on it, unless you want to go indie bottle. Again, 1 star, 2%. Okay, here we go. Single comment, and it's got nothing to do with the whiskey. All caps. Delivery driver did not keep his distance and wore no gloves, etc. Not happy with Amazon. Okay. Okay, so nobody has anything bad to say about this. Here we are. Top critical reviews. Let's have a look here. Wanted to try this Dufftown, but also wanted the new livery to place on shelf next to the 12, 15, 8-year-old. It came in the old livery, which, try as I did not to let it, unfortunately managed to distract somewhat from the overall enjoyment. Could anyone else not read that? Which, try as I did not to let it. Okay, I'm assuming they mean that they wanted this in the new packaging, but they got the old packaging instead, and they tried not to let them down, I think is what they're trying to say. Unless I'm just completely misreading that, but unfortunately it managed to distract somewhat from the overall enjoyment. The Maltmaster itself was good enough as a sipping whiskey. I love that. No G, it's an apostrophe. But she'll try it again in a few months when hopefully old livery stock is gone. Right. So the only thing they give a shit about is the label. I think we have a Johnny Walker drinker right here. Okay, fair enough. Next one, a bit of a letdown. I was rather disappointed. The flavour is very delicate, dare I say it, bland, although it does have a smooth finish. I wouldn't pay £35 or so for a bottle, but hey, it's just my opinion. I've had worse, but this to me is no better than average, when at this price, average just isn't good enough. I don't know where that voice came from, but man, did it fit. Oh, I'm fucking comedy genius. Let's have a quick look here. Geez, 32 GBP for the VO. It's a little high. It's a little bit steep. The shipping would be cost effective if I go by case, so maybe I'll get in touch if you want to put an order in cash or delivery for anyone involved our end. I'll take the risk of insurance. It could be an option, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything in particular that I know of that. I mean, the only thing that really I can think of that has been sort of shipped over to me at expense was the little box of Malort, and that it was nice of them to think of me. Let's put it that way. Another one for the Singleton, a bit rough, really. Not actually unpleasant, but also rather unremarkable. Was good for something like Pendrin, but this isn't it. Quite a lot rougher, and not a patch on Singleton 12-year-old. Wouldn't bother again. I've got one here, quite harsh, not very smooth at all. Not a very well balanced malt whiskey. And then we've got this one where they're just screaming about the fact they didn't wear a mask and stuff. And then from other countries, so we'll do a couple of translations because they're fun. A German review here is not my taste. Bottle opened and costed. Oh, every. What should the first of all fuel pure? The finish has tasted of phenol, i.e. peat, apparently. The litres of peat have mixed it in. From products from a specified region, actually an unding. Neither something sweet. From fruity, no trace. Conclusion? The indication flavours were completely absent. Even sampling and tasting with acquaintances did not yield a better result. I like how the last sentence just suddenly gets it shit together, and the rest of it was word salad, but that's probably down to the translation more than anything else. Here we are from Australia. It's an okay whiskey. Can't say it's on my list of reorder, though. I find it a little muddy in flavours. Nothing jumps out. It had some heat and some smoke to it, but nothing luxurious or deep. No real caramel notes or oak notes. It's a pretty simple whiskey, really, which makes it an okay introductory whiskey. Saying down here as well, disappointed. As bottle arrived, well wrapped in bubble wrap, packaged in a cardboard box, but without the original singleton packaging box. I bought this item to gift it to a friend, but cannot do that now. That's a little bit peculiar, actually. Yeah, that's a little bit strange, actually. Obviously, they normally have it in the box. I mean, I didn't get the Mellicorn in the box, but I don't think the Mellicorn comes with a box, so that's not that strange, really. Ooh, whiskey. Another German one here. Satisfactory taste and flavour. Not the best one in the class, but it has a smooth finish and nice flavour. Okay. We'll do one more on Amazon, and then I'll move across to Master Malt. We'll see if we can find anything interesting there, because I think if there's more snobs on Master Malt, aren't there? So there's going to be more scathing, screaming, tearing their hair out kind of reactions. Old Pulteney at the minute, £24. 1404 reviews. Lots of marketing up there. Okay, 82% 5-star, with another 14% 4-star. Average rating 4.7 out of 5. 1 stars are 1%. And here we go. Not to my liking. I've tried this whiskey, again American spelling, as an alternative to my bourbon. Lol, don't bother. It tastes disgusting. I'm sticking to Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Yuck. Ooh, a text. I wonder what this is. Most cat food has been dispatched. Well, thank you. Next one down, Brutal 1 star. A brutal malt. It doesn't even taste remotely like a malt. More like a nasty cheap blend. We've been down this road before, haven't we? I'd honestly rather a bottle of grouse than OP. It's truly horrible. Now. Whoa. That's a bit over the top, surely. I mean, I had grouse. Oh, last time I had grouse. Ugh, not good. Taste paint thinner mixed with a mouthful of seawater. Worst single malt, hands down for me. Okay. Old Pulteney, quite well known for its coastal flavours. So yeah, if you're not a fan of that, then yeah. Okay. All right. That looks more like, they had a bad reaction to what it tastes like, as opposed to necessarily an issue with the quality of it. We've got Jeff here. Worst single malt. Don't buy this unless you like cough medicine. Tastes like a very cheap whiskey with artificial flavours added. I will stick to my Lafroig 10. Well, we took a 180 in that sense. What happened? Wow. Tastes like medicine, and then they finish with, I will stick with my Lafroig 10. Is it just me? Moving on. I wouldn't recommend to anyone who knows their whiskey well, or indeed how to use the correct spelling of their. It doesn't taste like single malt. Tasted like Highland whiskey, parentheses teachers, which should be capitalised. I should have bought Cardew, which should only have the C capitalised, instead of this rubbish. Now that's making me wonder if this was a fake bottle. Counterfeit goods, maybe. Maybe is one word, not two. Very disappointed. I mean, okay. Still, they use the right spelling of whiskey, so that's something. Okay. I don't know what to say about that one. Yeah, moving on. Dingo Muncher. Excuse me. That's what I call myself on weekends, thank you very much. Shit, mate. Drinking my piss is more appealing to me. Peace out, homies. Fucking hell. Okay. Well, we've fascinating. Ooh. Good price for a solid dram. Old Pole have 2 from Morrison's. Oh, it's a pretty good price actually. I can't remember the last time I actually tried Old Portney. Should we do a review of Promised Land? Nah, let's not do that. Right. Let's change over to this, and then we'll hit stop. It's just me. Hello. Right. We'll move over to Master Malt, I reckon. So, tell you what, I'll give you guys a couple of minutes, and if nobody comes up with anything, then I'll pick something myself. But does anybody want to suggest any whiskies for us to look into? I'm probably going to go with Proper 12 if no one comes up with anything else, because I think that'll be hilarious. But if anyone wants to leave any suggestions for any whiskies, there's some fairly niche ones on there as well. So feel free to make some slightly outlandish suggestions if you want. I'm curious to see what takings are. Doesn't taste like single malt, tastes like a Highland malt, says the comments. Yeah, I know. That's why I moved on from that one, because I was like, I don't even know where to start with this one. Fair enough, they didn't like it, but yeah, their reasoning left a lot to be desired, didn't it? Bless them. But yeah, I've had corked bottles before. Maybe that's why they picked up. Fair enough. Dalmore 12. Dalmore's a good shout, actually. Yeah. All bottle, no trousers. Right. Okay. Let's go with Dalmore. So, first thing I need to do actually is Chrome tab, MOM. There we go. We can see that. Right. Cool. So, let's double check I've not got any address details on here. No, we seem to be fine. I probably should have done that before I shared a screen, shouldn't I? That would have made more sense. So Dalmore, 12-year-old. Let's change over to here. Feel free to keep making suggestions as well. I will keep picking them up. So 135 reviews, 3.5 stars. Currently going for £42.74. 4 people are looking at this now. It is in stock. I always like reading the Master of Malt tasting notes, because again, there were tasting notes for the Conor McGregor whiskey, and you know they made them up. So we've got a warm coffee house in Seattle, roasting beans, the oily nuttiness of a fine espresso. There are little notes of molten cereal and butter from the pastry counter, which is where you buy all your butter, of course, with rich orange from the fruit bowl, which is where you find all your oranges, on the counter. Okay. Palette notes of Seville marmalade and triple sec, so themes around orange, with winter spices and fruitcake, themes around Christmas, zesty cocoa and milk chocolate. God, did this person eat a thesaurus? Okay. Finish, medium, oranges. So quite orangey, fair enough. It won a silver, possibly for showing up. Right, let's see what we've got here. Now, I don't think I can actually... Can I? No, I don't think I can sort them, can I, on here? So we'll have to go through them, see what we find. Here's one here. Very underwhelming. It's not crap. It's not great. Fancy packaging, low ABV. Honestly, though, if you like this style of sherried whiskey, Naked Grouse is better. Ouch. Glendronach 12 is in another league. 11th of February 2021, but possibly was in another league. So obviously there's the whole controversy with them chill filtering now. People are not happy. Glendronach really, I can't help but think they really shot themselves in the foot with that one. I'd be fascinated to know what the thinking is. Is it just they've got a new exec and it's like, chill filtering, meh. It's absolutely baffling, that one, that they would do that. Pass. Bad. Expensive. Doesn't smell anything and very light taste. Seems like a mix of water, caramel, and alcohol. How did you find out their secret recipe? To balance it out as well, there's one here. Smooth vanilla, caramel excellence, 5 stars. I drink whiskey that I love the taste of, and this, along with Dalwhinnie 15, are my current favourites. Forget the snobbery from the experts. If you want something smooth, refreshing, and very drinkable as an evening dram, you won't go far wrong with this. Does again bring up the conversation about, the purpose of a whiskey. If you like Dalmore, no one can take that away from you. They're not going anywhere, They are a bit broad in their beam. They are a bit overpriced. But if you like it, then it has intrinsic value to you and you're happy to pay for it. So, that's, nobody can take that away from you, not least, snobby cardigan wearing fox like me. But 4.5 stars here, expensive choice. Very smooth, but a little too much on the sweet side for my taste. And then below that is a 0.5 star. A poor choice. Old musty wood dominated. Stay away, 3 exclamation marks. Another one here, 1 stars. Really poor. If you enjoy whiskey, stay away from Dalmore. Ouch. Oh, I mean, when I did the White Mackays, the Dalmore was the one that I was the most pleasantly surprised with. I mean, it still wasn't great, but I was like, yeah, I can see why people are into this. I don't mind this. It's inoffensive. It's just it's a little bit simple. There are much better malts out there that are not duping you out of 40 quid. You see, that would be where I'd have the issue. It is pricey. It's again that thing of, perceived quality by just jumping the price up and then doing nothing to the recipe. It's a little trickier to get away with in the information age, but I mean, it still works. It still absolutely works. Another one here, terrible. Overpriced whiskey tastes like brown water, sugar, and chemicals. Youch. I'm going to quickly pause. I think that's the beer chat, isn't it? I'm going to quickly pause that. Mute. That's going off all the time now. There we go. Right. Pardon me. Right. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Make your own at home. Get some water. Add some brown sugar and caramel, E150, and voila, Dalmore 12. Yikes. There's another one down here. When will people listen? It's very much Reverend Lovejoy's wife, isn't it? Won't somebody please think of the children? Stop buying overpriced caramel-coloured bland brown liquid and buy the proper stuff that has been well made. If you want a good Highland malt, try Wolfburn. Interesting choice. It's young, but it's honest. Good liquid. Not coloured like Dalmore. Non-chill filtered. Just a great dram. Unlike Dalmore. Yikes. Did that run over your cat or something? My God. Even I don't hate them that much. It's a 3-star one here. Let's have a look at this. But first, a sip of whiskey. I keep forgetting that you can't see me on this, so there's just these prolonged silences and then a gulp. And then you're like, okay, this is entertaining content. Not disappointing, 3 stars. Feels watered down, could do with being a higher strength. Been drinking this for a couple of months and feel the quality declines over time. Might be due to oxidization. But here's the strange thing that happens whenever I have a Dalmore in the cupboard. It always seems to go down too quickly. Like me. Wait, what? I'd put this in an everyday dram category. If you're after more complexity, try the 15-year-old. The more seasoned whiskey drinkers should look past this, but I'm definitely not disappointed either. I think that's probably one of the fairest reviews that you could give for this. It suits a need if you have a particular need for it as an everyday drink, or if you do just enjoy it. It's not perfect, it has shortcomings, and if you're looking for something, with bells and whistles, then you should go for something else. Like that. Right, cool. When will we get a real Dalmore? Oh, this is, buckle in, this is a few paragraphs there. I share the opinion of others that Dalmore have done some of the most work to harm their brand's standing with the informed drinker. To even find versions not dyed bright orange or sewerage brown, or with higher volumes of the more affordable, lower vintage. For example, in individual independent bottlings. The premium tends to be ridiculous. The malt itself might be good, but what they do to it is just not justifiably. Does not justify. Oh, I'm struggling here, aren't I? What they do to it does not justify the expense and the pretentious marketing executive orientation of the brand. Which, yeah, I've never tasted a Dalmore that is anything other than decent. And when luxury price is factored in, it represents horrible value for money. I hope one day for a correction in brand identity, as at the moment it's fully reliant on tricking people into paying more for less. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what would happen. I mean, Dalmore does make a lot of money for them purely because, you know, they're going down the brand-led side of things. You know, the liquid is beside the point. Because, I mean, golf players are a funny bunch, and they're, you know, they're quite easy to exploit, it would seem. I don't play golf, but yeah. Well, the thing about marketing as well, people like me, you know, people that go around saying, you know, oh, it's all marketing, you know, we're pretending that we are impervious to marketing, and we're really not. We're just subject to other types of marketing, like unconventional marketing, like the sort, you know, Brewdog and people like that pull, where, you know, they will do like a rebellious stunt to get their name out, and we go, oh, I want to support that brand. They know that you're going to do that. You know, it's all factored in. But we respond to that in ways that we don't respond to, you know, marketing that ultimately is not aimed at us. That's why we, you know, point it out so easily and go, oh, that's just marketing. It's like, well, yeah, because it's not aimed at you, so you spot it a mile off. Whereas the people it is aimed at are like, yes, I do like Rolexes. Yeah, sports cars and titties. Yes, you know, that's the kind of group that it's aimed at, and it works with them because it factors into their lifestyle. Anyway, I don't know where that was going. Blimey. A disappointment, 1 star. Wore through with almost no finish. Skip this one. We'll do one more, unless that's it. Oh, here we go. 1.5 stars. Disappointed, and justifiably so. I am generally reticent when it comes to opining about the positive or negative qualities of a product, but I must be honest in saying this was the case of excellent marketing. Kudos, as I was persuaded, and unfortunately, dreadful quality. With due respect to the poetic apologist arguing in defence of this whiskey, I cannot justify my own mistakes in buying this scotch. It is style over substance. Yeah, and it well knows it. Oh, there's another one in sight, so we'll do one more, and then we'll move on. Again, make sure you get your recommendations in, or I will pick something at random. Lackluster, mediocre, E150, 2.5 stars. Nice box, bottle presentation. The whiskey itself, mediocre, meh. It is very much spirit driven, as it is young. Also, as you might have hang about, what? 12-year-old, young, okay. Also, as you might have guessed, it's coloured, not complex. Nose, orange, dried plum and apricot, small hint of dark chocolate. Taste, everything mentioned above. Slightly oily mouthfeel, fast finish. Overall, young, nothing special. As it was with Bowmore, Dalmore, and other Paymore brands. I like that. They normally go for about 20 to 30% more than other comparable brands. Truth be told, if it was without E150 colouring agent and wasn't chill filtered with more age, it could be a decent drink, but as it is simply not worth it. Again, this is one of those ones where I've wanted to get my hands on an independent bottling, but again, because of the name of it, you know, the Dalmore brand and everything, and also they just don't want people realising that they make quite good stuff and then ruin it. Charge a fortune for it, so not many people actually get it, because they know that people aren't going to be willing, particularly, you know, hobbyists aren't going to be willing to pay a lot of money for Dalmore because they're normally not the people drinking Dalmore to begin with. I think they're aware of the reputation they have, and they sort of what they've got going at the minute is working for them, and they want to keep it that way. What have we got here? I've got a bottle of this in the house, but haven't opened it yet. The Dalmore 12. Okay. Well, hope I didn't put you off too much. Glendronach Highland was a surprise. Glencadam 10, 46%, no chill filter, no added colouring, bargain at 32 quid. I've heard very good things about the Glencadam 10. I've nearly gotten it a few times now, and I've always ended up getting something else. I don't know why. It's one of those ones where I've had my eye on it for a good long while now, and I wanted to actually invest, but I don't know why I haven't. I genuinely do not know why I haven't. Don't worry, Fred, you can blend in better drowns. Actually, that's a fair point. You could use it at the base of a... Because there are characteristics of it that would work quite nicely with a blend. But also, it is one of those malts where, you don't have to think about it. In fact, I think it benefits if you don't think about it. But, yes, James, or I could maybe gift it to my unsuspecting brother. That could be an idea, yeah. Maybe do a bottle swap with the Rube. Case in point, Buna Struid. Oh no. Struid. Just add some Glenfarclas 15, both good value when on deals. Fair enough. Do you know what? Seeing as that's come up, we'll have a look at the Buna Struid. That's how I'm pronouncing it now. We'll have a look at that next. So, Boonhaven, there it is. Stew. Cripes alive. Steward, it's probably pronounced Clive. Boonhaven Steward. Single malt pays homage to the distillery's shoreline on the northeast coast of Islay. They use whiskey matured in first and second fill sherry cask with a leaning towards deliciously coastal malt. Splendid. Lovely. Love it. 56 reviews. Mostly positive by the looks of it, actually. What was the overall rating? 4 stars. So, and it's won some awards. Gold No Age Statement 2018. And Islay No Age Statement 2019 as well. Both the spirit business, so they're quite keen on them, clearly. Right, let's see what we've got here. Mostly positive by the looks of it, actually. Okay, there's a 2-star. Do you know, we'll start with the positive reviews, seeing as they are the overwhelming majority anyway. May as well do that, I suppose. Tell you what, let's bring that one down. £25 at Sainsbury's on occasion. So, yeah, there are normally good deals on it. Right, here's a nice beefy one. Which side are you on? 3.5 stars. It's so entertaining to read the reviews of whiskey which splits opinion, and one of the beauties of being a drinker of such an enigmatic product. Everyone is right and wrong simultaneously, and there should be no stigma attached to either camp. Some wording could be better chosen, I suppose. I like this whiskey. The hefty ABV helps, and it takes to a few drops of water very well. From Islay, but uniquely not of the Islay script. Makes me want to explore more of the distillery range. Pour me another, please. Okay, so positive overall, actually. Interesting that they've given it 3.5 stars, given that they seemingly have quite a lot of good things to say about it. Right. Let's find that. Here we are. Get some ginger ale in. 2 stars. A little disappointed, to be honest. The worst whiskey I've ever tasted was the Hay Club, famously promoted by David... Oh, there's one we need to look into, actually. Hay Club. Promoted by David Beckham. And this tastes a little like that one. Little complexity. Seems like ethanol mixed with caramel in the main. Hard to recommend. Relatively kind review, though, I suppose, all things considered, given I'm not much of a fan of it. Add a little water, and whilst it won't sing, it will hum nicely. 3 stars. When I first smell it, I was briefly reminded of a well-known Irish malt whiskey. I agree that the tasting notes of dried fruit, nuts, and vanilla, and a little brine and spice. Smooth tasting with no burn. Not as complex as some of my favourite whiskies. However, as someone else said, It really opens up with a little water and it's good. I paid 25 for my best British pounds for it, which is a bargain. So again, that was what we were saying earlier on, actually. It's often on deal. So a quick look here as well. Bit seawater heavy, as James saying there. Right, load more. Mostly positive. Oh, here we go. Oh, hello. 26th of November, 1.5 stars. Crap. Paint stripper comes to mind. I shall use this for liqueur coffee. The cap came off the stopper. Would not buy again. Oh man, it's just one thing after the next with that one, isn't it? God bless. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting as well to read that it's a divisive whiskey because most of this is quite positive. Like I'm going through a sea of 4s, 3.5s, 4s, 5s. Got one here, a fine dessert whiskey, 5 stars. The sherry casks really do a number on this whiskey. This won't be to everyone's tastes, but I like it a lot. The merest drop of water opens it up nicely, bringing out a puddingy, dried fruit flavour. As Islay malts go, this is very different, but that's no bad thing. No age statement? No problem. 2 stars here. Just avoid and go for the 12-year-old. Actually, that is a point. The 12-year-old's not... Well, actually, the 12-year-old normally goes for... Is it 35 or 40? Somewhere around that realm, isn't it? I think that's often on deal as well, isn't it? From nose to finish, this Booner is not right for me. The palate is a mishmash of young spirit, peppery notes throughout, some sherry and brine, caramel and savoury notes, no balance. Finish is almost non-existent, far, far inferior to the 12 and the 75. I like how they've given a score at the end as if that means anything. 75 points. Every whiskey reviewer has their own bloody score board. I mean, I've got mine. Jeff's got his how many Jeffs out of Jeff. Ralphie's got his ranking out of 100. You know, everyone's got their own little, you know, so is that 75 out of 80? I'm going to assume it's 75 out of 100. Yeah, I've never understood the out of 100 thing because it's like, oh, anything below an 80 is terrible. It's like, but that's still like a B. You know, if you got 75 out of 100 on GCSE, that's a good score. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know. Okay. Struggling a little bit here. Here we go. Oh no, now, Boonharben. Cryface. Boonharben has long been my favourite distillery, but I'm disappointed with this. Some whiskies are good at a young age. Booner is not. It's almost unrecognisable as Boonharben. Not the best. Caught the caramel, not much else. The 12-year-old is much better. Drinkable, no real flavours. Got another one here. This one's curious, actually. Bring back the 12-year-old. The Boonharben 12-year-old was my favourite whiskey. Since this new one was brought out, I can't seem to find it anywhere. I bought a bottle of the Studer, and to be frank, it doesn't even come close. I have now switched to Bowmore 12-year-old. Yikes. Such a shame. Even my wife, who is not a whiskey drinker, liked the old Boonharben. Fair enough. When was this? 2019. I don't recall the Booner 12 ever being pulled. Was that a thing? I don't ever recall that being a thing. Possibly? I don't know. Just quickly replying to a message there. Right. Poor introduction to a distillery. 2 stars. This reminded me of the Speyburn 10, which isn't exactly a good thing. Again, another whiskey I've not tried. Young and poor cask whiskey go into this, in my opinion. You're much better going for the standard 12-year-old, which to me is a much better representation of what the distillery can produce, and can be had for less than this from a certain supermarket beginning with W. Warks and Wences? Some reviewers mention the lack of peat, which wouldn't come as a surprise, as Boonharben is known as the Islay distillery that produces predominantly unpeated whiskey. I'm actually struggling. What supermarket does he mean? Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's. Does he mean Morrison's? Are his eyes upside down? Marks and Spencer's. Wilko? Woolworths is bust. Booth doesn't begin with W. Am I being thick? Waterstones is a bookshop. I actually struggled. It's going to be obvious, isn't it? For some reason, I can't think of what supermarket it is. Leave me a comment. Tell me I'm stupid. We've got another one here. 2.5 stars. Not Boonhaven's best effort. Bought this from my local Morrison's on special offer at £26. The nose is a little disconcerting. Very like my experience with Glenrother's Select. I found a predominant aroma of vulcanized rubber. I have to admit that I was surprised. The foretaste was very like my 18-year-old Dalmore, which, to be honest, I am not a huge fan of. Ooh, double burn. Very fierce and oily, not altogether unpleasant, but not great either. The aftertaste was sweet and rich in caramel, which was more Speyside than Isla for me. The lack of peat and smoke left me a little disappointed. That's pretty standard for Boonha, to be fair. Not what I have expected, but from one of my favourite Isla distilleries. Interesting is probably the kind of description I could apply. After 2 reasonable drams, I found the oiliness causing my mouth to feel coated, but unfortunately not a pleasant way. I like how they use this review to drag down 2 other whiskies as well. That's that was fun. It is 46.3%. So, that's fun at least. But, yeah. Divisive, this one, by the looks of it. Very divisive. Brine. Just brine. Cool. I'm still struggling. What supermarket begins with W? Is there a supermarket that begins with W? Is it just me? Oh, hey, man. Right. I said I'd do it earlier on, and I'm going to make good on it. So we are going to look at Proper 12. Right, now then, this was notoriously poor. If no one's seen Whiskey Wednesday's review on this, I highly recommend it. He thoroughly took the comedy badge that week. I had no response to that. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think part of it was because he's normally a very serious reviewer. Relaxed, but, serious. And yeah, the time he did this, I was not ready. I was not ready at all for the chaos that was going to ensue. It was absolutely hilarious. What's even better is he has to sell it in his shop. And I think the way he was planning on selling it was, do you want to feel like you've been punched in the face? Buy this. £26. But I think it was going for 35 at one point, wasn't it? This crap. Just to quickly reply to somebody. Very unprofessional, I know. Okie dokie. Right. So 332 reviews, 2.5 stars. MMA fighter and boxer Conor McGregor has stepped into the ring of whiskey making with Proper Number 12, a blended Irish whiskey produced with the help of former Bushmills distillery manager David Elder. This is not a line on his CV. Featuring Molson grain whiskies drawn from bourbon barrels, the team created nearly 100 blends before deciding upon the one in the bottle. I'll bet they did. Proper Number 12 takes its name from Dublin 12, the area where McGregor grew up. Okay. Oh, this is going to be fun. Do you know, I'm going to read some of the positive ones as well, because I'm fascinated to see what the plants have to say. Dislike. Nasty stuff. Not terrible. I found it a little harsh for my palate. Usually, lowland malts are are my thing. So I wouldn't go for a blend. Not terrible. 2 stars. Now then, this is a fun one. Top Stuff, 5 stars. Great tasting whiskey and is only hated on by people who don't like McGregor. Should be about the whiskey, not the person behind it. I've tried the stuff. It's terrible whiskey. I don't even watch MMA. I don't know who this guy. Apparently, he's a total cunt, but I don't know. You know, I don't watch MMA. I don't have any interest in it. I had to read up a little bit when I did the whiskey because it's so intertwined. But yeah, don't give a crap about the person. He's made a bad whiskey. There's another one here. Awesome. Better than Makersall Jameson, 5 stars. This is the smoothest whiskey and has great flavour. People saying it's bad are simply Connor haters. There's an interesting theme here. There's one on the 7th and one on the 8th, and they're both saying basically the same thing. I've given it to at least half a dozen people and not told them what it was, and they all thought it was amazing. Super good with ginger ale. Okay. Meanwhile, worst Irish whiskey at the price point, 2 stars. For the same amount of money, you can buy Jameson's, Bushmills, Tullamore, Powers, McConnell's, Slane, just to name a few. All of these whiskies are better than proper 12. Typical Irish notes of metallic green apple, vanilla, and a tiny bit of shortbread, with rubbing alcohol throughout the palates on this one. Not terrible, just feels very rushed and unrefined. Feels like it should be $15 a bottle. $15 a bottle, maybe not deserving to be charged at the price of the big boy Irish brands. Well, McConnell's got to get his cut, I suppose, doesn't he? And to be fair, it worked. You know, people bought a lot of this. There's probably a lot more of it floundering, and you know, much like him now. But yeah, there's a middling review here. Not bad for the value. Not bad for the price. There are better out there if you want to pay double the price. Good tipple for an evening tipple. Word salad, but okay. Is it cruel to say that every word of that is wrong? Disgusting. Don't water your money. These are getting worse. Jesus. My boyfriend is usually a Johnny Walker drinker, but had heard about this fantastic new whiskey that Conor McGregor had made specially, claiming to be the best. Being an Irishman, I was convinced. My boyfriend's first sip on his birthday was of utter disappointment. He described it as a dirty night out. I tasted myself and can only describe it as floor cleaner. Vile. As with most of Conor's claims, full of shit. I mean, I kind of want to be repping with the gays here, so it's good to know we've got taste, I guess. Another one, disgusting, absolutely abhorrent. I vomited instantly. Jesus Christ. That's a reaction. I mean, I've had some horrible things, but I've never upchucked. Well, I mean, you know, Sambuca, but it was more a quantity issue, that one. This is not whiskey. It's a blend marketed to chavs that like to think they're sophisticated. Wow, don't hold back, dear. This one's a bit weird in that it's not given a star rating, but rather put 3 stars in the title. Those who didn't like it have to try again. I love Tullamore, Red Label 12, and Redbreast. Nothing to compare to a wee dram will do the job. Enjoy while playing acoustic guitar. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I certainly wouldn't go back to it, but 1 star. Tastes rushed and artificial. As far as I know, Bushmills make this, and it's full of caramel, which must be to hide the fact they are rushing it out the door. Stick to the ring, Connor, and stop trying to con everyone. I don't know why Connor's in inverted commas. Oh, because it Connor. Clever, this one. I like them. Not impressed. Have to say, I was not impressed. After finishing bottle, never once thought I had to get another. Fair enough. 1 star here, marketing height. This one sucks. You can even buy more cheaper and better whiskies. Tastes really bad. That's all they have to say about it. Just tastes really bad. I like how the title is longer than the actual review on that one. I feel like there's sort of a transcendent level of trolling that's going on with this particular review, and I quite like it. It's notable, actually, whenever there's a good review, they tend to be grouped together on the same dates, I'm noticing. Just putting that one out there. I'm not saying there aren't people that will have enjoyed this. I'm just saying it is not a 5-star whiskey. Just on an objectionable level. Oh, here we go. I saw the word snob, so I've got to read this one. Very nice. Don't listen to the snobs. You will listen to us. Wow, this whiskey obviously shows how different people have different tastes. Personally, I think it's a really nice, smooth Irish. I mean, I've had some very nice smooth Irishes, and this definitely isn't it. What I don't like at all, the whiskey snobs, but not only slating the whiskey, but also the people who happen to like it. Asshole. Really? Really? Oh, well, okay, we're going to take a moment here. Right, so this person is basically saying, right, I like the whiskey. I don't like the people being mean to us, so I'm going to be mean to them instead. And they have no idea the sense of irony, do they? At all. No. Okay. Bless them. If I ever see them, I'll make sure to ruffle their hair. 2.5 stars. Not great, not bad. Meh. It's okay. Nothing special. I normally have Bushmills as a go-to inexpensive. I'm a Redbreast drinker usually. Again, heard wonderful things about Redbreast, not drank it. I know, sacrilege. But saw this at the same price point and thought I'd give it a go. Meh. Not much going on in the way of aroma or flavour. Finish is okay. Nothing special, as I said. Very fair and even-handed review, actually, given that there are people that have literally been vomiting. Sorry, I'm also having a conversation with someone about ruby chocolate. With it being Easter today, tomorrow obviously is Cheap Chocolate Day, which is very exciting. Woolworths still exists in Australia. That's the best I've got. Yeah, I'm struggling with this as well. I'm wondering if they are just meaning Morrison's and they just got... I don't know, they misspelled M. I don't know, I'm confused by that one. Ringing hands. Oh boy, proper 12. Oh yeah, we're in for it. This should be good. Well, it's been good so far. That whiskey divides people. Keys could be depends what year. Could be a few decent barrels in the sea of spent casks. There was, getting off of whiskey for a second, there was some, I think they were bottles, sorry, there were bottles of Tio Pepe and Rama, unfiltered Fino from Tio Pepe. They decided to, I think it was 8 months, they submerged them into the sea. They were sealed, obviously, but they were curious to see if submerging them in the sea would make any kind of a difference to them. I've no idea if it did or it didn't, because there wasn't any story about it beyond they did it and they've unearthed them and people are going to be trying them. And then I never found a follow-up to it. So I couldn't really tell you if I would imagine not. Although, I mean, if there is, then that means that seawater got into it. So that's not good. So yeah, I'm really baffled what the idea behind that one was. I'm just going to quickly go get Mo some food. 2 seconds. Yeah. Come on. That's the problem with doing a stream on your own, is if anything happens, there's no one to cover for you while you're away. Right. See if any more comments came in actually while I was away. Very professional of me today, isn't it? Right. Right. Boring and bland. Not sure what these 5-star reviews are about. Bland, boring, and just plainly not a memorable drop. Very disappointed. 2 stars out of 5 on that one. Recent one, that one. The Smirnoff of whiskey, or marketing. Don't buy into the hype and marketing. There are much better whiskies. No names mentioned. That was half a star. And then below it, there is an essay, which I feel it's only fair that we read through. Good bargain that will only get better as the price drop that will occur after the initial excitement. Interesting. 4 stars, this one. First off, the packaging, which starts with the bottle itself, which robust. What? Sorry, I'm going to attack that sentence again. I'm not sure if I missed something there. First off, the packaging, which starts with the bottle itself, which robust. Nope, that is what it says. Okay. This hefty nature of this bottle exudes quality. Let's face it, you can drink this bottle with your wife and the be done with your wife if you follow my meaning. You mean fucker? Like, what are you on about? Readers should note that I am kidding a bit and that nobody should ever beat their wife with any, oh my god, any whiskey bottle. Okay, one of the few positive reviews of this whiskey, and we are 3 lines in, and we're already on domestic abuse, so this is going swimmingly so far. Oh my god. Right. Oh, I can't wait to see what else he says. The presentation is second to none with the green on green concept and the write-up on the bottle along with the green bottle itself. Moving on to what's really important is what's a inside, and that's the whiskey, which ain't bad at all. I've seen so many comments from folks who seem to want to denigrate, I'm amazed you can spell denigrate, a middle shelf blended whiskey in comparison to higher end, sometimes single malt varieties, which is like trying to compare a Jeep to an Escalade. Okay. This is not only dumb, it's irrelevant, trying to compare, in essence, 2 separate products. This drinker's opinion is that this bottle is fine on its own or as a mixer. I enjoy my Irish coffee every morning with the stuff. Whoa! What is this creature? What just happened? Okay, did I like walk into a parallel dimension as I was coming back from letting Mo out? What the hell is going on here? Why did he think it was a good idea to write that? He's so lucky that there's like no association, isn't there? It's completely anonymous, because I mean you wouldn't want anyone knowing you wrote that. Wow. Okay, so that one, that's the kind of positive review you do not want, because it does not help. What have we got here? You could pull up your Excel spreadsheet and check bad reviews for whiskies you scored highly to trigger you. I could do that, actually. That's a point. Although I'm pretty actually, I'll tell you what, we'll do Adnams next, because that was one that I thought was absolutely appalling. I'm curious to see if it was just me, though. Or the reverse, whiskies that you scored poorly and look at glowing reviews. That's fun, actually. I could do that. I'm sure it's in jest. I'm just shocked Master Malt left this review up. It's a doozy, that one, isn't it? I kind of... Actually, I don't want that on a I kind of want it on a t-shirt, maybe in Comic Sans. Maybe occasionally have one of the letters up back to front or something. Yeah, that's a piece of work. Below it, horrendous, so bad. I don't know if that review is about the bottle or the review that's above it, to be honest. 1 star here, awful, terrible, tastes like hot caramel and soap. Because that's a thing people do. Okay, fair enough. Half star, would not recommend, pretty awful. Not good, does not taste like good Irish whiskey. I do not recommend it. Fair enough. Terrible, awful. This might be the worst whiskey I've ever had. Thankfully, I didn't buy it because it was a gift. Save your money. Oh, I'm sure they meant well. This one here, shite, 3 stars. Don't fall for the bots and idiots on Google. Anyone who likes a whiskey because it's good with lemonade or apple cider is totally suspect as an authoritative reviewer of the beverage. WTF. I like this one. Not good. Trash, mate. 1 star. And another one here, half star. Truly dreadful. I was given a bottle of this 3-year-old paint stripper as a joke, and a joke it surely is. There must be something wrong with you if this is your idea of whiskey. I am convinced the bulk of the 5-star reviews must be paid for. Yeah, we covered that a little bit earlier, didn't we? You know, when it's so obvious that some of the reviews have been, you know, you scratch our back, we'll suck your dick kind of a thing. There's a 2-star one here, Casper. Not good. Tastes like fox piss. I want to know your frame of reference. Not personally, I just, you know, what sort of a night was that, you know? Oh, here we go. Oh, look at all this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the bought for section right here. That's not conspicuous at all, is it? Look at the lack of fucking effort as well. Like, look at that. 5-star, proper good. 5-star, amazing, love it. 5-star, just says good stuff. 5-star, great, proper stuff. You might as well just have put, this was paid for by Master of Malt. Okay, bye. Fucking hell. I mean, God bless them. And down here, not drinkable, horrible Irish whiskey. Jameson's is significantly better than this. This whiskey could only be drinkable with a mixed drink recipe. At which point, yeah, I mean, you know, that's sort of, you know, it's never a positive thing when you say it's a mixing whiskey, is it? You know, because at that point, I always feel like you're admitting defeat. You know, oh, it's great as a mixer. It's like, well, yeah, anything is, because you're covering up with something else. Don't tell me it's good as a mixer. You're just saying, it's not that great. Proper shit. Really not nice. Not drinkable. Horrid Irish whiskey. Jameson's is significantly better than this. This whiskey would only be drinkable with a mixed drink recipe. I've just covered that one, haven't I? Sorry, my mistake. Don't believe the bots and drunks. They can be both. 2 stars. I just wanted to add on many of these reviews. You see people saying it's amazing or delicious. They're either writing the reviews while drunk or bots. Proper 12 is just fine. It's an entry-level budget Irish that doesn't live up to the price, but is drinkable. Just not too much or notch. I think it was trying to be much. Autocorrect probably hit there. This is a fact. I know whiskey and whiskey. This is an honest review. The label, by the way, is great. Fair enough, you know, so that's a good review. You know, there are some, you know, trying to eke out some positives, but they are saying, you know, the liquid's not great. You know, you can drink it. I mean, it's a liquid. It's not like a, you know, bottle of glass or something, but, you know. 1 star, this is definitely not proper. I made whiskey. My grandfather made whiskey. My father made whiskey. That's a strange order. That's a very strange order. This is definitely not proper. There's one here, okay, 3 stars. I thought that it was not bad, better than Jameson's in terms of flavour, and with less burn. A good baseline to judge others by, I'd say, which is just another way of saying it's nothing too special. Solid with Sprite or on the rocks, which, again, yeah. We'll do one more. Half star here at the bottom. Really, really not good. I really wanted to like this and just plain couldn't. This is an awful whiskey. Harsh on the front and non-existent on the back. I've dated some guys like that. Like gargling rubbing alcohol that your wife spilled a bit of her vanilla latte in. It's bad. Sorry, Mr. McGregor. You better be sorry he'll come and knock you out and then throw the fight. Wow, that was a journey. I'm glad we did that. There are even more, but I think, do you know what? We should maybe save some of them for next time because we'll be here on this one all night otherwise. The review you just read about Proper 12 out must be a Trump supporter. Whoa, he's out of office. He's not a danger. He is a danger, but you know, the only danger is to people that can play golf better than him. I'm assuming you mean the one about like beating your wife with the whiskey bottle. That one. I still can't. Who the fuck would write that? That's not even a joke. Oh, I mean, do you know what? I had some expectations when I was reading the Proper 12 ones, and not only has it exceeded my expectations. Fucking hell. Oh, okay. Could be the traveller community support. Fair. Right, what were we gonna... Oh, we were gonna do Adnams next, weren't we? Double checking. Yep, just the Adnams. It was just the single malt. Still available, still buy it. 3 reviews, 3 stars. So this should be interesting. To recap, I've given this, I think it's a 3 I've given this. I've not actually brought, you know, let's bring up the sheets actually. There's an idea. I need to start linking to this in all my videos. I haven't yet put it down as a default. Here we are, Adnams single malt. Yeah, I gave it a 3, score of F. Taste 0, nose 1, value 1. And it does have an age statement, so it gets a 1 for that as well. Well, actually, does it have an age statement, or does it say at least? Okay, very mixed. Very mixed. Seeing as there's only 3, we can read all of them. So, more-ish. 4 stars. Beautiful fusion of sweet and spicy. Tin peaches drenched in honey with a sprinkling of chili. Not perhaps the most sophisticated or complex whiskey you'll ever taste, but great fun and very, very moreish. Fair enough. Winner. 4 stars. A lovely expression of an English whiskey. Incredibly smooth with plenty of honey, vanilla, and apricots with a long finish. Interesting. And then half star. I do wish bubblegum had not been mentioned. I loathe it, and now it's all I can taste. Very expensive, sweet kiddie pop. Bubblegum and cheap sweeties. Interesting, because the flavour that I got off of this when I tried it was burning plastic. Very violent nose of burning plastic. Yeah, it was bad. It just tasted full of off notes to me. I was not a fan of it at all. But out of curiosity, I want to have a look at some of the other output. have a look at the triple malt. Because I'm curious, actually, have I just done it a disservice? I mean, I don't think I've done it a disservice. These are all 4 stars. So I'll read one of them. Go on, treat yourself. Treat myself to a bottle of this on holiday this last week. Is triple malt just another way of saying blended? Either way, this is deliciously smooth and tasty, and for once the tasting notes actually reflect the lived experience. I can actually get a whiff of banana, the palate suggests honey, and the finish, well, 2 out of 3 is good, but I don't get bubblegum or chocolate myself. Just curious. Nose, toasted coconut, white grape, foam bananas and apricots. Palate, chocolate orange, caramelized almond, honey, and a kick of white pepper. And the finish is continued chocolatey elements with a touch of bubblegum and charred oak. 47% this one, so a bit of a better presentation. Non-chill filtered as well. Okay. Would I try it? Probably not. I mean, to be fair, I need to get onto my English whiskey game. Yeah, I want to try Bimber at some point, and Cotswolds I've heard very good things about as well. Actually, that's a point, Cotswolds. So well, let's have a look at English whiskey. Seeing as we've gone down this, oh, there it is, Cotswolds. And there's a Burnt Ends blended whiskey. I think we'll come back to this one in a second because I'm curious to see some of the Master of Malt ones. They've got some of their own bottlings, and they're always fun to have a look at. Right. I'm actually going to start by reading the blurb on this one because I'm fascinated. Now, my only exposure with Cotswold so far is I've tried their gin, the one with lavender, that Lucia's, delightful stuff, love it. But I haven't tried any of their whiskey yet, but I've heard nothing but glowing thoughts about it. So it says, very exciting stuff here, folks. This is the first single malt whiskey from the Cotswolds distillery, as well as being the first single malt whiskey ever distilled in the Cotswolds countryside. A much appreciated release, which has been produced using barley grown from the Cotswolds. Let's say Cotswolds again, Cotswolds. Distilled in their Forsyth copper pot stills, Mary and Janice, and aged in a combination of ex-bourbon and red wine casks. We've been eagerly awaiting this whiskey, and we know plenty of you have been too. So let's see what... They've actually released a fair few things. But quite mixed by the looks of it, actually. So we've got on here no stars, well done. I have to tell you that I'm a Scotch drinker and I've been very impressed with the taste and quality of the Cotswold single malts. Well done. But didn't give a star rating, fair enough. Very smooth and easy on the palate, 4.5 stars. A very, very delicious whiskey, which is perfect with a splash of water. It is easy on the palate and smooth. I would buy again. I've got another one here, which, again, another one of these ones where the tagline is longer than the actual review. It says superb and easy 5 stars, but they've not given a rating again. Forget any preconceived ideas or prejudices. This whiskey is superior to many 10 or 12-year-old Scotch whiskies I have had over the years. Oops, I missed that. In fact, it's hard to believe how young this whiskey is. Real quality. You do get that sometimes. Again, I hate to keep bringing up Lindors, but yeah, I mean, you know, I've tried their whiskey before it's even whiskey. I haven't tried their whiskey yet. I've only tried it as aging spirit, and yeah, it's phenomenal stuff so far. You know, really good stuff. So youth doesn't always matter. It can do, but it doesn't always. It keeps people like me on my toes. Now then, here we go. 2 stars. Expensive Jack Daniels. Unfinished and edgy, like me. Similar to Jack and Daniels. Strange. Which I dislike even more. Not one for me. Okay, well, I'm sure both Jack and Daniel will be very disappointed with that one. Here we go, another 2 stars. Decent nose, not much else. This was highly disappointing. This distillery has a fantastic reputation, though that might be related to their more limited releases, but I would not recommend this bottle. The nose isn't bad, but it's not aligned in any way to other tastes. Only a slight burn with no immediate taste. The aftertaste, on the other hand, is just unpleasant. Hoping my next English is a lot better. but I would be willing to try other bottles from Cotswold. Oh, is that the cat at the window again? I think it might be. Sorry, excuse me 2 seconds. No. Oh, sworn I heard him. Oh, never mind. Right, false alarm. My apologies. Right. Right, we'll move on to something else, I reckon. Are there any more? Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to do a Glenfiddich. Going to do Glenfiddich. Oops, if I can fucking spell. Oh, what's the one in the white bottle? Winter Storm. That's unusual. Right. Both sold out. I just wanted to get my hands on it, but I didn't fancy popping £165.94 for whiskey that has had a lot of its characters stripped out. It's weird, really. But hey. Right, so the Glenfiddich Winter Storm. If anyone doesn't know, this caused a bit of a storm. Funnily enough, I think a lot of it being that it was in a pretty white bottle. If I'm completely honest, and the first one was retailing for nearly £200. It was 199 quid. They reduced the price on the second batch, and they didn't get the same stampede, which is a little bit bizarre. I did try a sample of it once. I tried it at the Bow Bar. They were having it as their break-even bottle. So I paid, it was £8 for a drop of it. And yeah, it was fine. It was fine, you know. It was okay, but there was nothing remarkable about it, you know. The eagerly awaited second batch of Glenfiddich's Winter Storm once again sees well-aged whiskey from the legendary distillery finished in casks that previously held Canadian ice wine, made using grapes harvested while frozen, resulting in a powerfully sweet tipple. Released as part of the Glenfiddich Experimental Series, which I think has now been discontinued. Well, not discontinued, but you know, they're not making any more. They're focusing on mega premium instead now, because it makes more money. Malt master Brian Kinsman believes that only older whiskies can stand up to the intense influence of ice wine, which is why Winter Storm is built around the 21-year-old single malt. Interesting. Okay. Nose, a bouquet of tropical fruit and candied sweets are perfectly balanced with underlying wine notes. Palate, soft sweet nose reminiscent of candied fruit and Turkish delight develop into flavors of mouth-watering lychee. The fusion of sweet flavors is soon met with the rich, drying sensation from the ice wine, and the finish is short and crisp. So that's fun. Yeah, there's another one actually from the Glenfiddichs that I want to have a look at. Their most recent. I think it's a 23-year-old, and it's heavy on the packaging. It's pure branding, the new one. Very exciting. One thing I will say about Glenfiddich, actually, they're very good at getting you excited about release. Like the Grand Cru, very excited about that one. You know, there's all the gimmick about, you know, serving whiskey in champagne sauces and stuff like that. You know, it's all very exciting and very fun. A couple more comments are coming, actually, so before we get to the reviews, I'll just quickly pick two of those Cotswolds up at £30 from Saints. How? Ooh, very well done. Okay. If you were to pay £160 for a bottle, your choice would be what? I'm not sure, actually. What would I pay £160 for a single bottle? I'd be more inclined to be like, right, I've got a budget of £160. How many different things can I get? That would be my first go-to. Although, I had 160 quid. Do you know what? I'd probably buy a Glenfiddich Aladis. Not Glenfiddich, a Glendronach Aladis that has a non-chill filtered stamp on it. and keep it under the floorboards as a retirement fund. Because I mean, that spoilers, that is going to get, oh, that's going to go up in price. Oh, the Signet. It's a looker, but is it a taster? Do you know what? The Signet is actually lovely. I'm a big fan of the Signet. Is it a little bit simple in some respects? Yeah. I like that they use a darker malt. I love the bottle. It does feel premium. It does give you that kind of experience of being a bit of a baller, whilst the contents do justify themselves. I think I'm safe in saying that more people would agree than disagree that the contents are good. Are they? I mean, what's the going price for a Signet actually? I think it's about 120, isn't it? Glenmorangie Signet, let's have a quick look. 134.95 on Master of Malt. Whisky Exchange charging 158 for some reason. Yeah, variable, but really about 140 quid. Yeah. Oh, the Signet's a good shout, actually. Yeah. Do you know, I'll come back to this because I think I need to have a bit of a think about what I would go for. But yeah, we'll answer that before the end. But maybe remind me, because brain like a sieve. But, if I could buy an expensive bottle, I think I would consider Redbreast 21. Ooh, good. Do you know, if somebody was like, right, I will buy you a bottle of something. The Bunahab in 1988 Marsala cask, that was delightful. It was like grown-up Ribena. It was absolutely extraordinary. We got to try some when we got it in at the bar. Delightful stuff. Managed to sell a fair bit of it as well, because we were charging about, I think, 40 quid a nip for it or something. But because we were able to talk about it, we were like, it's got a fantastic black currency flavour to it, which it does. I wasn't just bullshitting or like reading off master malt notes. I was actually like, could actually say, we're giving this a go, and it was absolutely delightful. Which very exciting. Right. Anyway, back to this. So we kick off with a 3-star review. Pleasant but not sensational. It's perfectly pleasant but not sensational. The fruity nose lulls you into anticipation that doesn't quite arrive. It's light, crisp, sharp on the tongue, and the finish is clean and short. I enjoyed it, but it caused no commotion in my underwear. Oh my. Oh, now. I love that. No commotion in my underwear. Delightful. I'd drink it again, but not go out of my way. Super idea, and it works precisely as intended, but it's not £200. It's a £120 bottle, purely for its age, with £8 of packaging and marketing. And I say this as a fan of Glenfiddich. Yeah, Glenfiddich's absolutely going down that road at the minute. They're absolutely going down it's not the liquid doesn't matter. It's the perceived notion of luxury, and it works beautifully. You can make a good chunk of change off of that, luxury items. They're the way to go. Plus, they do also have their approachable standards. So they've got a good rap on market. To be fair, it's a good time to be Glenfiddich. Just another nip of whiskey there. Lovely. 1.5 stars. Disappointing. Lacks depth and body. Not even close to worth the money. 4.5 stars. Delicious palate with incredible finish. Very complex. An interesting idea that harmonizes sweet citrus with a dryness that is very enjoyable. I found the finish crisp at first, but not short. Lingering notes of fortified wine last for minutes, warming and comforting. More than a liberal pour can begin to overpower the palate and leave a tangy sensation. Best enjoyed in smaller amounts, not least because of the amount you paid for it, probably, but yeah. Put it on your wish list, 5 stars. Wonderful on the nose, extremely delicate, scented floral with the Glenfiddich taste. If you like Glenfiddich 18 or 21, this is the whiskey you have to try. Perfect on its own. Do not add ice or water. Houston, we got perfection. 3 stars here. Nice idea, but nothing special. I've had a fair amount of ice wine and have visited one of the vineyards near Niagara, so I was quite excited to give this a go. On the nose, it's floral, with strong tropical fruits coming through, but it lacked the advertised wine notes. On tasting, it's dominated by tannin initially, but gives way to a smooth sweetness. Again, mostly tropical fruit. The finish is disappointing, short and drying. Expected more from this, but wouldn't purchase again. And the last one just says good. Worth each penny, 5 stars. So, again, quite a divisive one. Quite a divisive one. Right, so the Glenfiddich. Now then, what's the name of the newest one? Not the Grand Cru, although, again, ooh, try a sample. How much is a sample, actually? I could do that on the channel if it's not. Yikes. I've been looking for something to spend the Patreon money on. I think because of the price of that, I'm being weird, but I'm being very, I'm trying to be very frugal with the Patreon money. I think most people would be like, yeah, I get to spend it on, like, stuff I wouldn't normally buy. And, whilst that's possibly true, I do still want to, be careful with the money that I've been trusted with. Here it is, the Grand Couronne. £450 and it's sold out. Gorgeous packaging. I've seen the advert for it. It's all these like moving spirals and stuff. I don't think there's no reviews. No reviews at all. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go to the as soon as we'd mentioned Grand Cru, we'll talk about the Grand Cru. 23-year-old, £220, only one per customer. There are some reviews of this one. Again, lovely marketing. The folks at Glenfiddich clearly enjoy exploring new cask types for their whiskey, whether it's peaty whiskey in rum cask or making good use of ice wine casks. The distillery certainly has some experimental flair. And experimental flair is what you're after. Glenfiddich Grand Cru 23-year-old is the perfect thing. This single malt initially ages in American and European oak casks before being moved over to rare French cuvee oak casks. The influence these casks have has had on the whiskey is fantastic, lifting the palate with notes of baked goods and fresh fruit. And it got a gold at something. Okay. Always like reading the tasting notes on Master and Malt because they're always a bit over the top. Nose, brioche banana, vanilla blossom, sugared almond, and hints of cider. Curious. Lemon peel. Palate, melted butter on rye toast, sandalwood, peach, soft peppery hints drift in later with just a pinch of mint. And the finish is flaky pastry, dry malt, and pear sweetness. Fascinating. Right, and we kick off with a 2-star review. Oh dear. Nice package, thank you very much. Shame about the whiskey. Beautiful looking bottle. I had looked at this for a while before I tried it and ended up getting it as a sample. As previously stated, I could not taste any of the age in it. Whilst it is pleasant enough, I don't think it warrants the price. Nose was light, and I got some apple and citrus with oak. Palate was on the bland and dull side. A little sweetness, some subdued fruit and oak, but nothing remarkable or particularly noteworthy. Finish was short and nondescript. I think the way Glenfiddich have marketed this whiskey is more about the packaging image rather than the substance. It's a shame as it looks like a flagship product. It really does. And do you know what? It really looks the part on a back bar. We actually tried to get a few people drinking it on the bells on New Year's because we were like, right, well, it's a Grand Cru whiskey, we're a whiskey bar. So I'll tell you what, ask people, do they want some champagne or do they want some Grand Cru whiskey instead? And we got about 40-60 in favour of champagne, but I mean that's a lot of Grand Crus that were in people's sauces, so it worked quite nicely actually because I am a prick. Right, 5 stars. For someone you treasure that's no pushover. And there's a poem here. My god. Okay, we've got a poem, lads. Whiskey is whiskey. I tell you, it's a Glenfiddich. Everyone has their own views on different whiskies and different presentations. I drink whiskey most days to enjoy. This you will enjoy. As a gift, which is its intention, is right up there. A special gift for a whiskey drinker will leave them stunned. It's hard to leave it alone. Beauty. Oh, he is at the window this time. Right. Oh. Yeah, in you can. Oh, hello, Mr. Gray. What is it, Mo? Ooh. Ooh. Whew. Hey, here he is. Say hello to people, man. Okay, all right, down you go. Bye. Oh, we've got some comments. Glendronach 21 Parliament would make the most over time for the investment. Might well do, actually. But there is sort of a cult of worship when it comes to the Glendronach 18 that I don't think is really repeated on the 20. I mean, I could be wrong. I could have. It's really messed my hair up, hasn't it? Hang on. I've given up at this point. It's just. I like Tina Turner on a bad day. My God. Right. Until 2022, when the spirit is the same age as the bottle. I thought it already. Is it not the case with the 21-year-old? Has it still got another year in it yet? So I thought they'd all caught up to themselves at this point. Or again, it might just be that nobody cares outside the 18. The 18 is a great whiskey, of course it is, but I mean, bloody hell, lads, calm down. Bought by Flippers, only the £450 bottle. I would have thought so. Yeah. It's one of those luxury ones, isn't it? But a lot of people say that it's never been a better time to be buying whiskey. There has. The good time to buy whiskey was when no one else was buying it, when it was going for fucking nothing, and you were hoarding it under your floorboards, and then suddenly everybody wants it, and the value's gone through the roof. That was the best time to buy. Now is the best time to sell. Big difference. Do you find Master and Malt tasting notes a bit overboard for the actual liquid? They are a bit. I mean, they're trying to sell it at the end of the day, aren't they? So I understand, and I've always liked that they do it. They can be a little bit highfalutin sometimes, but I suppose all tasting notes are a bit highfalutin. I mean, mine are all over the place, to be fair. So just sort of the consequence of tasting notes. That's a fluffy looking discount code. Here I'm a broken-hearted, spent this money. Right, so back onto the Grand Cru. Supermarket standard, nothing more. Dull and expressionless. Save £160. Buy the 15-year-old Glenfiddich is a must for you. A 40% 23-year-old Indy. See, 40%? Oh my God. Oh, cheeky fuckers. Wow. Okay. To be fair, they have some of the best brand ambassadors. So I mean, they don't really need to try all that hard. It's an okay liquid, but again, it is overpriced. It's that whole kind of luxury without the effort sort of thing. I'm still on this screen, aren't I? Right, let's change it back. I'll tell you what. One more comment. Only the 21 Glen still holding the label. Okay. Well, might be worth grabbing a bottle before all hell breaks loose with that as well. Right. So where were we? A beautiful, delicious gift. 4.5 stars. A beautiful bottle and delicious liquid. Great for a treat or as a generous gift. Moving down to this 1.5 star beauty. Any respect for single malt? Don't buy this. This is a joke single malt at 40%. You cannot taste the age at 23 years. The Grand Cru statement of black and gold packaging is no more than a money-making marketing object. True dat. It's chill filtered and colour added, even though it does say when you strip this back, it's an awful malt and one Glenfiddich should be embarrassed to sell. Its aim is to pander at the airport market. If you had any respect for single malt, you wouldn't touch this. I certainly won't be again. Fair. And then loads of 5 stars again. I've got one here, fabulous in every way. It smells rich, it tastes very smooth, sweet with no bitterness. Whatso every and the presentation in the black revolving box gives it the black mystic dark look brilliant. Started having a stonk towards the end of that, didn't we? And then a sea of glowing reviews after that. So some negatives, mostly from, you know, sniffy whiskey sorts like me. But yeah. The packaging is gorgeous. I do love the packaging. You know, the look of it, it's a very striking bottle. It is bollocks. You know, anyone with an eye can see that it is. Well, you know, anyone with an eye probably can't see it, actually. It's very much aimed at, you know, people with more money than knowledge, you know. So it is, again, sort of, you know, golf club whiskey. But, I mean, that's where they can make their money, isn't it? You know, oh, we've got a shitty 23-year-old hanging around. Tell you what, slap a nice badge on it. Job done. Right, what shall we do now? You know what, let's have a look at some Johnny Walkers. Why not? Oh, look at this. Paid for by Johnny Walker. Oh, here we go. The Johnny Walker Blue Label Ghost and Rare. 1 review and it's 5 stars. Great. On the nose is complex and refined. Taste is well balanced. Probably my favourite blend. Okay, fair enough. Was not expecting that. There's the Blenruri Royal, 43.8%. Fair enough. Ghost and Rare, it's an intriguing one. I mean, you know, is anyone under any impression there's anything more than a thimble full of the old stock in there? You wouldn't waste it for this, would you? Interesting, all the Ghost and Rare seem to be bottled at 43.8. I'll tell you what, I quite like the Sweet Peat. Let's have a look at the Sweet Peat. Yeah. Yeah, people seem to be agreeing, actually. Good, but don't expect big peat. Completely concur with that one. Sweet Peat, the latter inspired my purchase. I love peated whiskey, and my favourite include the usual suspects, Ardbeg, Lafroig, and Lagavulin. The peat in this Johnny Walker is just a wisp, and I only just catch it on the finish. It is very muted. It's a pleasant dram for sure, but don't go in expecting a big peat presence, as it's just not there. A good transition whiskey, perhaps, for non-peat heads. Good value for money, although in my opinion, you'd be better spending it on Elsa Bay 1.2 Sweet Smoke. Did I write this? This is very similar to the to my thoughts on it. If you want a peat presence that isn't overbearing, Santa, yeah, total agreement on that one, 100%. Oh, it can't be actually because it was over a year ago. Any Scotch drinker will love this one. 5 stars. Smooth and delicate, mild peat flavour. I was pleasantly surprised. I was as well, actually. I mean, I was gifted it by a patron. Chris was very kind enough to actually send me a bottle. Again, totally unnecessary, but gratefully received. It's actually... Do I say it's one of my favourite? Yeah, I do like it. It's one of my favourite Johnny Walkers. Admittedly, that's not a high bar, but you know, I've been enjoying it. I do like it. And a positive experiment. Poured a large dram of this and was very pleasantly surprised. The tasting notes above are spot on. All I will add is this whiskey is very smooth and one I will come back to again and again. Thank you, Johnny Walker. Excuse me. Yes, let's have a look at the tasting notes from the chaps at Master of Malt. Nose. The warmth of caramel and spices combined with the fresh smokiness of fruit and a campfire. Oh, around a campfire. Beg your pardon. I've just got this image now of apples toasting marshmallows around a campfire. It's adorable. Palate, sweet and indulgent caramel and fudge married with charred tropical fruits. And finish, ripe apples and oranges, followed by a rounded smokiness that stays with you after the last sip. Disagree with that one. It doesn't stick around much. The peat is very ethereal. But yeah, it says it features whiskey from Kalila and sherry matured Glendolland. So that's exciting. Let's have a look at the GOT White Walker, the Johnny Walker White Walker. This was infamously Lowe's. I do still actually have a bottle on my back shelf. For whatever reason, I bought two. I think I was one of those people that thought there was going to be some money in it, didn't I? Have a quick look at some comments there. To be fair, the non-chill filtered natural colour 46% Whisky Geek quality bar is set well outside the Glenfiddich's typical target wood. It is, yeah, that's fair actually. It's not their core market. You know, I mean, the counter argument to that would be, you know, if you've got these older stocks, then you should respect them. But at the same time, you know, they're a business first and foremost, and it's not been, it's not their thing. Yeah. Yeah, as a general rule, I don't mind sort of William Grant and Sons products. You know, I think they do some very good work, and I like the Glenfiddichs that are, you know, on the lower end. But it's just when they start charging silly money for something that, you know, it's just charging money for the sake of charging money. You know, it's just to make it look good. You know, because if you had the Grand Cru and it was charging at 70 quid, people would probably be like, no, that's not worth it. You know, it stops being a special occasion whiskey, and they still sell the stocks of it. But you know, it's worth getting more money for it. True, they don't need to change. I wonder what was said about the Johnny Walker 18. I know the value to quality ratio is clearly poor, but your F tasting rating always confused me. Hey, buddy, you all right? Really? That mad, bro? No. What did you say? Well, you should have done. Did they leave after that? Well, good on you. You stand your ground. You're a sassy woman. No, I meant that in a metaphorical sense. You know, like, you know, you're all right, I won't say it. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. Honestly, this animal. Right. This is not the Momo show. Although, actually, there's an idea. Maybe one for the future. Yeah, we'll do the Johnny Walker 18 in a minute. I'd like to think of myself as a whiskey geek, but Glenfiddich will always have a special place in my heart because the 12 was my first Scotch. So that was your kind of like your light bulb moment, I suppose. Your introduction. I think I tried to get into whiskey with the Glenfiddichs, and I got a tasting pack, and I wasn't keen. I did not fall for them. But Speyside has always been a bit of a weird one for me. So far, the Glenallachie 12 has been a bit of an outlier in that respect. What? Oh, do you want to come over here? Oh, do you want to come and say hi? I'll get the screen back on for a second. Hey, what? What is it? What are you moaning about? Hey. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, ow, ow. Oh. That was unnecessary, Mohammed. How is everyone? He is a chatty boy. He is a chat. That's not better, is it? Fuck it. Yeah, we all first tasted Glenfiddich or Johnny Walker Red. Yeah, actually, I think the first like whiskey that I had that I didn't dislike was Johnny Walker Black. While I didn't dislike it, it's not the one that I was like, oh, actually, I might want to give whiskey a go. You know, I didn't go that far with that. It was all right, you know. And you know, I'll maintain that, you know, I do not mind JW Black. I prefer the double black, actually. That was very pleasant. I still tried Johnny Walker Red. I was advised to skip it. He agrees. He knows. Yeah. Do you know, it's not I don't think it's as bad as people make it out. Don't get me wrong, it's still not great, but I was expecting like my face to fall off when I drank it. You know, people have got very visceral reactions to the JW Red. Would you stand to Lagavulin 16? I like the Lagavulin 16. Big enjoyment on Lagavulin 16. Lager 16 is a good whiskey. Well, you don't like peat though, do you? And also you don't drink. I'm a big fan of peated whiskies. I mean, I've got the last of my kill coming in here, and I've been very conservatively sipping it so far. What? And I missed the experience. Right, let's have a look at the White Walker. So, I think we all know about this one. It's a, I'll tell you what, have I put the screen on? I haven't, I keep forgetting that. There we go. So, this is whiskey you put in the freezer. And if you do put it in the freezer, it rewards you with a message that says winter is here in, I think it's thermochromatic ink is what it's called. I didn't hate this. Didn't mind it. I quite liked the backbone of Klein Leisham there. I thought that did it a lot of favours, but I mean, everyone had a lot to say about this. I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute. 41.7%, tasting notes by the chaps at Master of Malt. Soft hints of orange fruit pastels and dried apricots. Toffee, vanilla pod, and ginger snaps. Palate, more vanilla again, this time paired with cinnamon and almond. Hints of fresh cherry and cut oak heat. Interesting description. And finish, lingering peppery malt and festive spices. I'd be curious actually to do a experiment with these. Have one, I might do that at some point. I might do it as a live actually, that'd be quite fun. Have 2 drams of Johnnie Walker White. Keep one in the freezer until I'm ready for it, and keep the other one out at room temperature. And see how big of a difference there is. I think I'd be quite curious. I think it'd be quite interesting to see that. But the rest of my White Walker went into a blend. I think it made the backbone. And actually, do you know what? Perfect good blend. Right, so we start here. Best by far, my favourite out of the Johnnie Walkers. No star rating, so no help there. 1 star, below average, gimmicky release for cocktail. A disgrace to Johnnie Walker. Does not even taste like whiskey. Too strong vanilla. No depth. Drank frozen as recommended. Neat with soda and lemon. A waste of money. Interesting that the vanilla is too strong for them. That was one of the things that I quite liked about it. It's one of the reasons I quite like the Bladnock as well. You know, it's got a strong vanilla influence. I'm not saying that Johnnie Walker White has anything on Bladnock 10. That therein lies insanity. But yeah, similar reasons why, you know, I enjoy the Bladnock 10 and I didn't hate the White Walker. Don't be right, it wasn't great, but you know, I didn't mind it. Not worth the money. To my taste, it's overly sweet, almost unbearable. No deepness, very sharp. The bottle is pretty, but not elaborated at all. Normal Johnny with a blue eye after being in the freezer. There are better whiskies with better bottles for less money. The price is a bit of a sticking point. Charging the customers for the HBO deal, that was never going to go down well. There's a 4 star here. Good fun, great Prezi. Was okay, but not any better than Johnnie Walker Red in my opinion. Great fun bottle though. I've heard a lot of people comparing this to Johnnie Walker Red. You know, I'm just wondering why it costs twice as much. You know, it is. I mean, a bottle of Johnnie Walker normally goes for about, Johnnie Walker Red normally goes for about 15. Well, I have seen it as high as 20 actually. But I mean, charging 25 there in lies insanity. Whereas this is about £33, so it's actually over double. You know, so it's a big increase in money. Half star. Are we allowed to swear on this site? If we are, it's utter shite. Lovely, love it. 2.5 stars, average. I was attracted to the bottle and almost put it down when I realised it was a gimmick. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad either. Very average and slightly overpriced. It We have an essay here, so let's have a bit of fun with this. 3 stars, not a bad whiskey in a lovely bottle. This is not a bad whiskey. It is not in the slightest... Wait, what? It is not in the slightest metallic. I think there's a word missing there, isn't there? As one reviewer suggested, maybe they drank it from a thimble. It is a nice tot, not too dissimilar to Johnnie Walker Black if you served it from the fridge. The thermal reacted bottle of the White Walker is very cool, and the taste is fairly smooth with a nice burn at the end that brings out a hint of cinnamon. There are better whiskies with more complexity for the money, my favourite being the slightly peated Jura 10-year-old, with a hint of sea salt at the end, which is unlike anything I've tried before. However, if I wanted a smooth whiskey, which this is overpriced, then Paddy, it's actually called Paddy Triple Distilled, is the best I've tried. Even when compared to 50 or 60 pound bottles, this is like Jane Austen. It's not a full stop in sight. Bottles of Dram, I've tried a lot of whiskey, like 50 or 60, maybe more. 50 or 60 numbers coming up a lot, I'm noticing. I know it's Irish whiskey, but with its smooth, Moorish butterscotch aftertaste, I always keep a bottle in my collection. Right up there and quite cheap, so recommended by me. However, back to Johnnie Walker Game of Thrones whiskey, let's not forget that after the expensive Jubilee bottle, the brand is referred to as the Queen's whiskey, and I can't say I've tried a bad Johnnie Walker. White Walker is syrupy and sweet with strong flavour, and it is a pleasant blend that I would be happy to drink quite often, if not comparing to other whiskies at the same price range. To me, a bad whiskey would be Bell's or Famous Grouse, which I would have to mix as it is just terrible. Johnnie Walker is very drinkable, and I can see why people like it. A pleasant 3 stars overall. My God. I like how at the very end he put a full stop in. Bloody hell. A very thorough review, if a little confusing at times. I feel a bit lightheaded now. What? What? You've got food out. What do you mean you don't like that food? You've been eating that food. It's the food I get you. Yeah, what do you say to that? Thought so. Not worth it. Very metallic, not good. That's the one we were talking about earlier with the thimble. Not bad, but not a collector's item. It is not a limited edition. Bottles are not numbered, and there are millions of them. It is just a selling item. There's a lot of 5 stars then. Way better than the gold label. 5 stars, really smooth, like they tell you. Chill it, then pour. Amazing. Another one here. Smooth finish, good whiskey compared to the Johnnie Walker series. This is the smoothest edition so far. Here we go, half star. Good for stay-at-home aftershave. Here's what I got. Nose, hint of vanilla extract and red cedar, and aspen, durian and isopropyl. Palate, more durian again, coriander and dead maple leaves. Hint of chipotle and lychee. Finish, black pepper and tamarind. Thorough, if nothing else, but you know, nothing. I just read the next one. Half star, terrible. Tastes like silly bang. What possible comparison? How did that happen? Tastes like silly bang. How? How did we get there? Just going to quickly let this one out again, because I think he wants out. Go. Away with you. Ooh, right. Again, this is why I should have guests on so they can cover for me when I'm babysitting. Right. A 1-star review down here. Let's have some fun with this. Really bad taste in a cool bottle. You should only buy it if you're a die-hard GOT fan. 1 star. I bought this primarily because it's a GOT limited and the bottle looks cool. GOT ended 3 years ago, and you can still buy these bottles very easily. Also, the other GOT whiskies is hilarious. To A, see how heavily they get discounted, and B, when they show up at auction, you can buy them for less than their retail price. It is fucking funny. Good people, you know, grab them thinking they were going to be limited and then realize there is zero worth in them. I love it. But anyway, but also because it's Johnnie Walker and it should be good, right? No. It tasted like something much, much cheaper. I tried it at room temperature first, then I froze it, and the taste got even worse. I paid somewhere around $50. Whoa. $50, but it's not even worth half. Johnny Walker should know better. It's still a cool bottle, and now I have something to mix with Coke. Ouch. There's one here. Should taste better for price, but not a 1 star, and he's conveniently given no stars. I really dislike cheap blended whiskey, and this is as harsh as mouthwash. I'll be honest, I absolutely love it. Okay, it's one for the BDSM crowd, I guess. But as cheap as possible, and then you won't be disappointed. Best served with ice cubes for my palate. 4 stars if you pay £25, and drop a star for 30, as there's better out there. Would I buy another bottle? Yes. Fair enough. Yeah, it is expensive for what you're getting. It's very expensive for what you're getting. Yeah, and I've got a couple of 5 stars clustered together. JRA, really good blend and tastes amazing. Only real whiskey drinkers should know. And then another one, fabulous whiskey, ignore bad reviews, because that's how opinions work. And then a string of poor ones. Oh, we're going to have fun here. We're going to be here for a good long while. If you've got babysitters or anything, maybe get on the phone and tell them you're going to be late. Right. Buy only for the novelty of it. This scotch is made to be used in mixed drinks. It's absolutely horrible at room temperature, only slightly better out of the icebox. Half star. 1 star, don't bother. Really poor, have to say. Bottle is the best thing. The bottle's not even that great. I mean, it's a nice design, but it's on like a plastic wrap thing that makes the whole thing feel even cheaper somehow. 1 star, bad. I agree. Awful taste when serving at room temperature. I haven't tried the frozen taste yet, but who freezes whiskey, for crying out loud? As a half star, awful. What can I say? Bloody awful. Better out the freezer as it disguises the awful metallic taste. Would rather fight the last dragon than drink this. I assume that's a reference to the Throne of Games. 1 star, not recommended at all. Worst ever Johnny Walker whiskey. The taste is really bad. Even I tried it at sub-zero temperatures. Don't waste your money on this. Do you know, some people saying about the Johnny Walker 18, I think what we'll actually do is I will leave the core Johnny Walkers for another day, because it's always good to clump those together, because they're always a bit of fun, aren't they? Right. Oh, we've had a fair few here, haven't we? Right. This has been panned globally. Maybe not India. A chill whiskey is what they need. To be fair, also, they make their own whiskey, and it is good stuff. The guys at Goa know their thing. I've heard good things about Amrit as well. I feel like White Walker is one of the awful whiskey infinity stones. Could well be, actually, yeah. India loves Johnny Walker. They include it in their music videos and Bollywood movies regularly, I guess. It's all about those deals, isn't it? I mean, where I work, we've got the Johnny Walker Experience opening right next door. And we're like, well, we'll get busy from this, but also... it's kind of interesting because, I mean, before we closed, you know, there wasn't much in the area, so we were quite quiet. And now we're going to be we're expecting to get absolutely slammed because there's only little old us. We're basically going to be a waiting room for people who want to go in, I think. But, I mean, you know, you make your money however you make it. Perhaps a brand placement for a cost, I would imagine so, yeah, very true. Keith L., are you an Aquavite Barfly member? Oh, I can't be having crossovers, goodness me. He'll be coming to get me next. Well, actually, I tend to miss Roy's streams, just because it's normally Thursday night game night with my boyfriend and some of his friends. So they're normally it clashes quite severely. And it's, you know, one of the opportunities that I get to speak with him for a few hours. So it's yeah, just not a great time. So I tend to catch it up afterwards. Speaking of which, actually, I frequently, when I can, but he tends to do VPubs while I'm working. Fair, yeah. Try to watch the VODs afterwards, but it isn't easy to attack a 2+ hour video. Well, I mean, this one's coming in at nearly 3 hours now, to be fair. So I mean, Roy is an absolute treasure. He really is. Love that man. In a platonic sense, you know. Don't want to be a complete homewrecker. So true. Have to give Ralphie a mention in case he's watching. I'm going to put that in the quite unlikely box. I mean, you never know, but I'm going to put that in the quite unlikely box. I'd imagine he has better things to do with an evening, to be completely honest. And I don't take that as an insult to myself, to be fair. He's a very busy man in and of himself, I would imagine. I mean, he's just released a new book as well, hasn't he? He's just done a new one. It's fictional this time around. Well, fictional accounts of real events, I think it is. Somebody please correct me if I'm incorrect with that one, because... do you know what we said about Lagavulin? Lagavulin 16. My personal take on it is I like the Lagavulin 16. The last time I had it was in a bar, which by default means it was a while ago. So do you know what? I think I might do a sample of it and bring it to the channel at some point, because I'm overdue to look back at it. And you can only buy 6 per customer, £57.97. It's nice as well to see a core release that is a 16-year-old. You know, that's a peculiarity in and of itself. I also like the blind-faced cheek of Master Malt being like, "Oh, do you like Lagavulin? You might want to try our shit instead." Cheeky cunts. Fucking look at that. Look at that. I've never seen that before. Look at that. Cheeky little bastards. You can't blame them, but it's still cheeky little bastards. A much sought after single malt Scotch whisky with a massive peat smoke that's typical of Southern Islay, also offering richness and a dryness that turns out into a truly interesting tipple. The 16-year-old has truly become a benchmark Islay dram for the Lagavulin distillery. If you're looking for a food pairing for this beauty, try intensely flavoured salty blue cheeses, which complement the intense peat-rich, sweet and salty character of Lagavulin wonderfully. Or, you know, a nice, like, creamy cheddar, like an Islay Malt cheddar, or, you know, something that doesn't taste like it's been left behind a radiator for a year. They're also options. Fucking hate blue cheese. Right, tasting notes by the chaps at Master of Malt. Oh, should we watch the video? No, I'll link to it instead. We won't. Should we? No, it's cheeky. Although they've been cheeky. Yeah, we won't. Nose, more like lap. They've got a lot to say about this one, haven't they? These are quite detailed. More like Lapsang Souchong tea than Lapsang Souchong. Okay. One of the smokiest noses from Islay. It's big, very, very concentrated and redolent of iodine, sweet spices, good matured sherry, and creamy vanilla. Stunning. Palate, very thick and rich. A massive mouthful of malted sherry with good fruity sweetness, but also a wonderful sweetness. Big, powerful peat and oak. And the finish, long, spicy finish, figs, dates, peat smoke, and vanilla. Let's see what we've got. All positive. Well, there is a 2 down there. We'll start with a 5. Excellent. Really good. I am no Scotch expert, but years ago I used to drink Chivas Johnny Walker Black and thought it was the best there was, and so gave it up. But last year was a strange year, and I decided to give Scotch another try. I like that. 2020. Yeah, that was a strange year, wasn't it? This time, with a little research, the variety of Scotches is amazing. Oh, honey. I got me a little taste chart and a few small bottles. Some are fairly pricey, and was on my way. Hard to believe, but I had never tasted a peated Scotch. If I had been given any one of them 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to identify what it was, and I would never have thought I would like it. The descriptions here are very interesting, but what I know is that I like it best amongst the Scotches I've tried so far. I will always have a bottle of this around in case of an urge for a sip or a glass should hit. The Lagavulin 16 is lauded, universally lauded, pretty much, and with good reason. It's a fantastic product. You know, it's excellent whiskey, and it has an incredible base of loyal supporters. I count myself amongst them. You know, I do love the Lagavulin 16. I love the Lafroig 10. I haven't had a chance to try the Lagavulin 8. We'll be changing that fairly soon. It's just a sea of 5s and a couple of 4s, but there's a 2 here. And I haven't read it yet, and I'm closing my eyes right now. You can't see that, right? I'm closing my eyes. I would not bet a pencil case that this isn't about the fact that they just don't like smoke. Nobody would take that bet because it's what it's going to be. And open eyes, smoke. It tastes of smoke. We all know it. Very hard to drink. You might enjoy it if you're a smoker or a firefighter. you like smoked stuff, like lapsang souchong, all those like smoked German sausages that don't fit on the bun properly, or I don't know, cheese that isn't mouldy. Smoked butter's quite good actually. It's a half star here. Bad aftertaste. The charcoal aftertaste is huge disappointment. I really can't see buying this again. There's a 1 star down here. Not good. Tasted like charcoal. Interesting. Got charcoal 2 in a row. Aftertaste was bitter and chemical. There's a bit of an iodine twang to it, but I quite like it. There's a 3 star here, middle of the road, much better Islays. Despite the bottle being free. Lucky bugger. Very disappointing considering the hype. Smooth and smoky, but lacking the depth of other Islays here. Not bad, but would take Port Charlotte or Ardbeg over this. And here we are, 2.5 stars. Superb. I'm not sure they know how stars work. Fair enough. 5s, 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 5s. It's a sea of 5s. Oh, wow. However, here we are. A half. Tastes like an electrical fire. And in the description, they just repeated what they said. Tastes like an electrical fire. Oh, dear. And then 5s, 5s, 5s. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5s. A 2. Not my cup of tea. That's the thing. Like, most of these have come across is because obviously it has a very strong smoke flavor, and if you didn't know that already and you're not a fan of smoke flavors, then obviously you're going to think it's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, people that don't like Islays, it's because they don't like the taste profile. It's not necessarily to do with any specific flaw with the whiskey. Not my cup of tea. They say there's no accounting for taste. I don't care for this whiskey. The smoke and peat flavors are too strong and out of balance for my taste. I expected to like it. Thought I ought to like it. I just don't. It doesn't taste good to me. I prefer the smoothness of a Glenlivet 18 or 12. Sorry, Ron Swanson. You're still the best man, obviously. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Ron's a big fan of the lager, isn't he? Yeah. Maybe I should make that a video at some point. Trying the Ron Swanson's favourite whiskey. See the views go up for no good reason other than I mentioned somebody out of a film. Oh, yeah. And then just sea of 5s and 4s. So, I mean, the public are pretty beside themselves that it is a good whiskey. And there's a couple of people that aren't much of a fan, but otherwise, yeah, pretty on point overall. Right. There's a fair few comments have come in. Let's see if I can find where we were up to. I'll just quickly change back over to... Oh, there I am. How did that not make it better? Fuck it. Right. Evening. How are we? Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? This has been going on for 3 fucking hours now. 3 hours you've been watching a man with terrible hair and his overly vocal cat reading things on the internet. I don't know which of us needs to have a good long hard look at their lives more. Maybe we should get like a group therapy session going. Well, there's an idea. Rampant line reviews. Are you named after your local? Oh, nope. Used to get comments about how it was cool to find Scottish beer reviewers, so I changed the name to something very Scottish. Yeah. I've often joked, actually, in the sort of the tourist trap sector of Edinburgh pubs, if you just put in the window traditional Scottish nouns, fucking flooded all day long. There was a pub I worked on in Grassmarket. You literally didn't need to run it. You opened the doors, took the cash, closed the doors again. There was nothing to run. It pretty much ran itself. As long as you were sensible about, all right, yeah, one person there, one person there, one person there, open the kitchen, make sure there's food in, make sure there's beer in, but that was about it. It was a very basic and rudimentary. The only thing that was really a problem was the company, for some reason, on the ordering system, there was a few things which you thought you were ordering one thing and it would show up as a pack of 6, and there was, unless you remembered specifically, I got into trouble a few times. It was like, this is showing up as a 6 again. We don't have room for it. I'm like, oh, bugger. But there was no way to order like a 1. So if you ran out of like Cavassier was one of them, it always showed up as a 6. And I was like, this is fucking annoying. We were a bit of an outlier because of just how small we were. How did I tag myself? I've no idea how you managed that, James. Smoke is king. Any chance of a Schlenkiller review? If you tell me what it is. If it's an exotic dance, maybe. Oh, I'm caught up. Exciting. Right. Still looking for recommendations. I've still got a bit of voice left, and I've still got a bit of whiskey left, to be fair. So may as well carry on while the going's good. I actually managed to make this one whiskey. Oh no! I managed to make this one whiskey last for nearly 3 hours now, because I'm great like that, naturally. Right, if none of you guys pick something, I'm going to have to pick something for you. Oh, didn't you hate it when teachers used to say that? It's like, please do, we can't be fucked. One of my favourite overriding memories is when we were all picking our GCSEs and we'd all chosen everything, and nobody picked music because the music department in our school was shit. And they were still trying to teach it as if it mattered, because literally no one in the class was taking music. Like, music, it was hilarious actually when it was like the GCSE selection night. The music table was, nobody went near it. It was abandoned. So everyone was like, if I wanted to learn music, I'll take private lessons, because it's a fucking joke, the music department at that school. It was, to be fair, the entire school's a joke, but I mean, yeah, and she was kind of like, oh, if you don't do this, then I think she was trying to make a point about like, oh, well, if you don't do this, then it will matter later on when you want to take it. And everyone in the room just burst out laughing. She had no idea that literally no one that year was taking music. It was like, you have no, like, she's basically out of a job, pretty much. It was a bit sad, but at the same time, she was a cunt, so I didn't care too much. I'll take an exotic dance. It's a German beer from Bamberg, made from smoked beechwood malts. Well, I do like a smoky beer. As I previously mentioned, I like smoked things. The only thing I don't like is smoking, bizarrely. But hey, good on the lungs. Although I've had plenty of passive smoke from my mother over the years, to be fair. And then these words. Those sure are some letters. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm going to pick something. What should we do? So many whiskies. Should I do something off of my shelf, actually? What have we got? I'm not going to do the Johnny Walkers because I want to cover those. I want to cover the cause on its own thing. Tell you what, let's have a look at Ben Nevis. There's an idea. Let's have a look at the big bad Ben Nevis. Ben 10. Unavailable. The 18 reviews, 4.5 stars. Let's get the screen on. Following words. Indian whiskey. Right. Get that on there. Right, here we are. So, this 10-year-old Ben Nevis single malt exudes some beautiful coffee, chocolate, and toffeed peat notes, a firm representative of the Western Highlands style. 4.5 stars, 18 reviews, sold out. I think I've told you all the story about how I got mine. Somebody from this, I actually had to get in touch with the distillery. Or rather, somebody from the distillery got in touch with me and was like, would you like a bottle? We can sort something out. When I say sort something out, what it was I PayPal them the money and they send it to me. A little bit dodgy in hindsight, but I mean, they worked for the distillery, so at the end of the day, if they took the money, I'd be like, wait, one of your distillers took my cash, here's the proof. But as it turns out, they were more than happy to send it out because they just have it there, but they've not shipped it out, or what. I don't know. We talked about Ben Nevis earlier on in the night, and how we were hoping that Nika would give them up now that they don't have a huge amount of use for them potentially. Be quite nice. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So, a 10-year-old Ben Nevis single malt exudes. We've read that already. Notes: nose fresh and quite dry, a supple greenness with soft leafy notes, and a rich fruitiness. Hints of orange and Seville marmalade with a light vinous character and nutty undertones. Palate: gentle dryness, toffee, looming, omnipresent, solid peat notes and a bit of sweetness. Finish: silken toffee and caramel notes, balanced with a touch of mochaccino and dark chocolate on the tail. You'd think I'd know my coffees by now, wouldn't you? Let's see what we've got. Mostly glowing. Let's start at the top. Whiskey that drinks like wine. Excellent old school. A previous reviewer gave very sage advice. Please refer to the comments. This dew of Ben Nevis is actually better than 9/10 of all whiskey in the world, particularly in the quality of the smoothness and drinkability. At 46%, most need water to be consumable with any sort of gusto. Not so here. You will not get this caliber of spirit at any price or age without spending mega in the futures. You have been warned. Excellent whiskey, parfums typiques de Highlands. Yes. Peat caramel and light bitterness, full of sweetness. I think I saw that. Yeah, here we are. Foul. Shouldn't be allowed to call itself anything but paint stripper. No star review. There's one here, new price, £50. That's quite a hike from 30. Yeah, this has been going up quite regularly. It's all 5s and 4s, actually. Oh, here we are, 2.5. Don't do that don't do that at my favourite distillery! 3 exclamation marks. It has an artificial sweet taste that covers the tongue for minutes. Sulphur? All the typical Ben Nevis aromas and some of the taste are there, but it's the first one I can't recommend because it all seems hidden behind a sweet wall. I've had about 15 types of Ben Nevis before and like them all a lot better. Here I miss the salty, peppery experience that is so adorable. To be fair, I don't recall a salt pepper kind of a thing on mine, so maybe I've gotten one of the later ones. I quite like it. And a 3-star here, Ben Nevis, but not quite scaling the heights. I was always a fan of Ben Nevis 10, so I was a little concerned when I saw this new presentation, and I was right to be. Firstly, a small point, I don't like the coloured bottle. When I poured a dram, it looked much paler, and the nose didn't entice. Despite the 46%, it seemed thin and weak, and not all like the robust whiskey I have reviewed previously. I did have the bottle open for several hours before sampling, so it did have time to breathe. There are merely my first impressions. Perhaps in time, when I go back, it will taste better, but at the moment, I can only recommend it if you see the old version. Grab while you can. Never saw the old version kicking about. Didn't even realise this was a new version, the one that I've got now, with the brown bottle, because a lot of people make out that it is actually old presentation, which is a bit of a strange thing. So that's interesting. A bit of an eye-opener, if nothing else. And there are some things going on here. Spent some time in Frankfurt and Maine and didn't need to learn much German as everyone spoke English. Fairy dues. Actually, I think I just realised that this was a request rather than just random words. So let's have a look at some Indian. Other countries, Indian. Let's go with Paul John Bold. A few years ago, about when I worked at the Cafe Royal, we had Paul John in. They did a tasting of some of their whiskies, and they came down to Edinburgh especially because they knew one of the people that worked at the restaurant. They did the rounds as well while they were in Edinburgh, because of course they would, get a bit of business, but we were the reason they were there. And I got to go away with a few samples, which was quite nice. So I tried the Bolds, the peated cask strength, and the brilliance. And there was another one in there that I can't remember. Whoopsie daisy. But yeah, I remember they were very good. So it seems like most people tend to agree, really. Great Indian single malt, good value for money. Good malt whiskey, really great Indian single malt, value for money. Again, value for money. Okay, I think, yeah. These are very similar, aren't they? Both on the same day. Saying, that's suspicious. It's a shame, actually. I wouldn't have thought that would have been necessary, really, but anyway. Here, this looks like a legitimate review. Pairs well with a good cigar. Chocolate has become a thing recently because obviously cigar smoking is sort of on the way out a little bit, isn't it? Because people are becoming conscious of the damage it does. So there's companies like Whisky and stuff like that that are trying to take over with like whiskey and chocolate pairing, which, you know, it's not a new idea, but, you know, it's certainly an interesting one. They're making a business out of it, and you see them all over the place. You know, they're doing a lot of connections with different sort of brand ambassadors and influencers, and, you know, people of that ilk. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Anyway, more reviews. So, pairs well with a good cigar. Hi. Well, I enjoyed Paul John Bold along with a cigar and had a great time savouring the taste and flavours of this medium dry, not so boldly peated malt. Great peppery spice flavour with hints of dried grass is what comes to mind that gets pronounced on sipping after resting with a single cube of melted ice. Works pleasantly on senses when paired with a medium-bodied Maduro wrapped cigar. Is that a good one? I don't know. Had a great time. Try it out. It's nice when people give their recommendations like pairings and stuff in these reviews as well. I like it when people go into a bit more detail rather than just, it's shite, mate, or it's all right, I was paid for this review. Very good indeed. Mind-blowing. Really, it's a master of malt. What a mind-blowing smoky it will leave behind to all single malt with Indian and imported. I never tasted this type of taste. It's like you put a load of words in a tombola and then just pulled them out at random. that's quite something. Oh, here we go. 1 star. 2 minutes of pleasure, but could mean death of a kiss. Okay. Yeah, okay. I love the taste. However, having been to India, even the rivers and glaciers where this professors and seen the pollution, I would rather not partake. Right. Okay, so this is just a slur. Okay. Yeah, great stuff. Finally, an India whiskey that holds its own strength against Scott. Glowing reviews. I think it's safe to say on that one. Glowing reviews. Right. I suppose I'm going to pick again, aren't I? Right. Let's see what we've got. I'll do a couple more and then might wrap up for the night after that because I've been on the go for 3 hours, haven't I, at this point? Let's see what else we've got in the realm of corn, actually. So we've got well, actually, we've not done Mellicorn here yet, have we? We'll do Mellicorn and then we'll do Balcones Baby Blue. Gosh, the Balcones has a lower rating, interestingly enough. Let's have a look. $28.94. Master Malt will often try and match Amazon's price, but then the problem with Master Malt is, you know, shipping on top of that. So unfortunately, it does often work out cheaper to do Amazon. Oh wow. Okay, so I'll read the top 2 and then we'll go searching. Actually, it looks like it's all 5s and 4s. Pleasantly surprised. So, it's as good as a good bourbon, just looks tacky. You can buy this where you are, then buy it. Good Lord, get a case of it. It's going for $30 CAD. I paid for it before it vanished from Alberta 2 years ago. Honestly, great whiskey for the price. Excellent distillate, just in used barrels. Considering it's a Heaven Hill product, I'm sure the barrels are likely used once for bourbon and used freshly again for this corn whiskey. It's a fair supposition, actually. Sad I can't ship this from your website, but back home. Canada's liquor law is shite. Yeah, I mean, Marion is often popping up, and there's a lot of things that she can't get her hands on, God bless her. But I've heard that, you know, is it the Canadian Is it the CAB or the Canadian Alcohol Board or something like that? All the shops are like, it's a bit draconian, which is quite bizarre for one of the nicest countries in the world. But yeah, it's like state-owned liquor stores, and they're very strict about it. It's odd. It's very odd. Also, they drink milk out of bags. Strange place. Now then, this one is in all capitals. Buy it. No, I ain't messing. Like, buy it now. Before y'all do anything else, and get it from Master and More, because they're cool too. Okay, if anyone's ever wondered what happens when you do a review while you're in the middle of a mental breakdown, look no further. Absolutely amazing. If you like your American whiskey sweet and smooth, with a kick in the pants, this is it. Great value with tons of character. Buy it now. No, seriously, buy some. Line the pockets of the dudes at Heaven Hill, because they know what they are doing. These are the people behind Elijah Craig, and in case you don't know, that whiskey is more than awesome too. Who does he work for? Is it Master of Bolt, or is it Heaven Hill, or is it both? It's a bizarre review. Very enthusiastic, but a bizarre review. Yeah, these are all very encouraging reviews, actually. 4s and 5s. Lovely. There's a 3 here. Silky sweet butterscotch with an aftertaste reminder it's moonshine. There's no corn whiskey quite like this. It's got silky sweet butter vanilla taste and smell of woody notes, but the wood is bitter and there's an acetone aftertaste that spoils it a bit. But still, it works great with soda, Coke, ginger beer, or Canada Dry. Definitely the most flavoursome corn whiskey I've tasted. Also, I mixed some with Manhattan Rye and made the perfect bourbon. Great stuff, but then Manhattan Rye is way overpriced. I only mixed them because the rye was boring on its own. I'll try a different rye next time. This review changed gears about halfway through and kind of forgot what it was talking about, but fair enough. It's always nice to know what is a good rye and a not good rye. Another comment come through there. A lot of Americans rate it as an indicator of what the mash bill tastes like without the charred barrel influence. Right, so here we are, 2.5 stars, but it does still say 1 to try. So maybe a bit low, giving it 50%. Actually, curious, 2 in a row that say 1 to try. Probably just a coincidence. Also, 1 day apart. Probably just a coincidence. Where to start? Let's start with the packaging. I love the bottle. Save the awful plastic screw cap. Again, I don't have an issue with screw caps. They're fine. They serve a purpose. There's no point being snooty about them. And that's me saying that. So. What were they thinking? And so it goes on that 1 minute I love it, the next I find it a confusing proposition to say the least, as it changes from dram to dram. The nose can be cheap perfume, petrol, or sweet buttered popcorn with a hint of smoke. The palate can be overwhelmingly peppery or a subtle balance of sweetness, with great viscosity and a spicy finish. As shocked as I am finding myself saying it, one I might consider trying on the rocks, which I shall do this evening. And he was never heard from again. And the other 1 to try from the day before. Worth trying as an example of straight corn whiskey. It's very uncomplicated, slightly sweet and very spicy, but not a complex dram to linger over. But for what it is, deserves a visitation. Love the bottle, save for the bloody awful plastic screw again on the screw cap. I mean, okay. Screw caps are a weird one. Nobody has an issue with them on Coca-Cola, do they? Or bottled water. Or, things of that ilk. Nobody has an issue with screw caps then. Or even vodka, nobody ever goes, oh, I wish it didn't have a screw cap. Put it on whiskey and suddenly it's like the world is ending. Yeah, strange. It's just a different closure, and I don't have an issue with screw caps. I don't. They serve a purpose. They're actually more useful in some respects, because they don't deteriorate as much as cork can. But, you know, cork is part of the theatre of whiskey, isn't it? Ooh, should I read this essay? From 2014. Going back quite a way, actually. Yeah, okay. 4 stars, Captain Jimbo's Rum Project. That's an interesting start. For better or worse, American whiskey is dominated by bourbon from Kentucky or Tennessee. Although corn-based, it's really about half corn with the real flavour coming from wheat, rye and malted barley. That's not accurate. For it to be a straight corn, it actually has to be 81%, so that's not accurate. A mishmash of flavours, not to mention the strong effects on new charred oak, accelerated over 2 years, which then are later mellowed by further aging. But straight corn whiskey is not bourbon, and especially not this one. Mellow corn is 90%. Oh, right, okay, sorry, I see. So they were giving context there, I apologise. And is really quite a different genre. Just like Armagnac is not cognac, and rye is not bourbon. It's not single malt. A straight corn whiskey is yet another genre that stands on its own. While bourbon depends on factors other than corn and highlights those elements, a straight corn whiskey is meant to emphasize the corn, not rye. Furthermore, this one is truly special in that it is bottled in bond. Thus, it is aged at close to 62% and bottled at 100 proof. And get this, it's good used oak, all by law. This is a rather slow and careful process, and those 2 extra years in used oak ensures that the corn, not the wood, will be emphasized. Thus, this one is remarkable. The opening nose is a sweet corn over a light spicy background, bit of vanillin, but the palate opens oily smooth and warm with the spices and heat emerging and carrying to a wonderful finish that appears to be black pepper, cinnamon and clove, but which is really white pepper in corn disguise. Brilliant, really, and deceptively simple. A caveat. I would remind our hairy-chested friends that this is a 100 proof spirit. This means it demands a good airing and a teaspoon or 2 of distilled water. Like any high-proof single malt, remember too that no spirit will be truly understood until you get down to the shoulder of the bottle. At our website, here we go. At our website, Captain Jimbo's Rum Project, we expected little from a spirit that was sold next to moonshine and accordingly was bought and reviewed as a giggle. We had no idea how good mellow corn would be. The sad truth, true corn whiskey once dominated distilling, but that ended long ago with the growth and current dominance of American bourbon. If straight corn whiskies were back in commercial favour, this one would easily sell for $35. At 10 or 12, we're not only rated it an 8 or 4 stars, it was a no-brainer. Best buy, boys and girls. It's time to open up your bourbon-soaked minds enough to learn to appreciate the genre of straight corn whiskey, of which this is a terrific example. My word, that was... Okay, I'm gonna do a quick search. Oh yeah, that's still going. Oh wow. Right, hold on, lads. Don't show this tip again. Chrome. Get a load of this. My word. Some aesthetic choices were made here. Wow. This is a full... When was the last post, actually? Because that review was from 2014. Capsule Rum reviews. Okay. All right. Well, maybe not focus on that for now. Let's go back to screen share, Chrome, Astronaut. Wow, that was that was quite a review right there. And yeah, more 4s and 5s. Very favourable reviews overall. There's a less impressed here. There's no star rating. This is back from 2012. This whiskey's young, very young, and you can notice that. It's got a sweet nose, but it tastes not as sweet as a standard Jim Beam, and it's not as smooth either. It has got a long burn and sports a surprising lack of complexity. Ooh. Sorry, excuse me, the cat is back. In you come again. Hello. Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Off you go. Right. Where were we? At the same time, it also lacks any pleasant surprise and taste. A whiskey you could buy to experience what a straight corn whiskey tastes like, but I'm sorry, this one is nothing to write home about. I'm curious how it would taste if it were matured 10 years or more. I bet it would be much better. There is actually, I was mentioning this earlier, in that it's not called mellow corn. I'll go back for a second. It's this one. Heaven Hill Corn Whiskey 9-year-old. Could get a sample. It's the same stuff. Heaven Hill Corn Whiskey. But because mellow corn is obviously a brand name, they can't call it that. We'll look into the Balconer's Baby Blue, and then I think we'll call it a night after that, I reckon. Do a couple of quick comments as well. Yeah, I live in Eastern Canada, which adds double jeopardy. Government-controlled liquor paired with the worst economy in the country. Ugh. I'm looking to find much, if anything, on my shelves. You'd think all the expat connections with Scotland would help. Oh, yeah. I hate the term expat. I can see it being easier to export in future without tariffs. Well, here's hoping, but keep an eye on that, because these things are changing quite rapidly at the moment, aren't they? This is sold out, so but plenty of good things to say about it. I think I've actually seen Balcones on shelves before, but anyway, this is the first Texan whiskey, as well as being the first whiskey to be distilled from blue corn. When we first tried this, we thought it was wonderful, though very different. These days, it's become a firm favourite, along with the rest of the craft distilleries' fantastic releases. Nose, soft vanilla and notes of candied peel. Caramelized bananas, toasted oak, and a little creamy cereal sweetness. Palate rich, thick palate entry. A touch of dark caramel and baked apple. Baking spices, salted butter. And the finish, spiced, medium finish, quite sweet. 43 reviews, 3.5 stars. But a lot of 5s I'm seeing. Oh, and then it starts to creep in with the... All right, we'll do a couple of good, a couple of bad. Good, refreshing. I don't know why these people are saying it tastes like tequila. It tastes nothing like tequila. It's a little sweet. It's really nice for hot weather. Refreshing. Okay. Another 5 down here from 14th of August 2019. Love this whiskey. Why? Because it's different. I love the aroma and the taste to match the smell. It is different. It is supposed to be different. It doesn't have a strong alcohol smell. It doesn't have a peat or charcoal taste. If you're a bourbon drinker that wants your bourbon to taste the same no matter what bottle it comes out of, then this is not for you. It is a blue corn mash whiskey. It needs to sit and breathe a little while. Take in the aroma and then enjoy it neat. Don't add water. Don't add it to a mixed drink. Just enjoy it. Okay. And then we've got a couple of bads down here. 1 star here, not good. Smells better than it tastes. Hint of tequila, sour cider aftertaste, astringent. Curious. And then a distinct taste, not for everybody. I enjoy a variety of whiskies, bourbons, and ryes, and really wanted to like this as a Texan, as Texas is getting some really good distillers. But I was not impressed. Tried it both neat with ice and in a cocktail. While it was better as it breathed, I did not enjoy it, and it tasted artificial/manufactured with a hint of tequila others have mentioned. Quality control might be an issue, as I am not sure how this won awards. Dear. 1 more bad, and we'll wrap this up for tonight, because my voice is starting to go a little bit. Not sure how I feel about this. 2.5 stars. It is unique. I have to give it that. Not quite sure what to think about it, but I can say that second time I went to the bottle to try it out, it very closely resembled tequila. A lot of mention of tequila. Interesting. Totally thrown off by this. The following night I used it to make a Cadillac margarita. Not bad. Found the bottle at Total Wine for $40. Looking forward to trying the Brimstone version. I heard it's really aggressive. Okay, this one seems quite divisive by the looks of it. Again, tastes like tequila and wet socks down here, half star. But then up here, 4 stars, let it air and it becomes a really nice corn whiskey. At the start, it smells like burnt rubber, and it tastes like it. If you let it air for a couple of minutes, it both smells and tastes so much better. The sweetness, as expected from the corn, is very pronounced. It has vanilla and fruity tones too, and it grows on me. However, the burnt rubber feel is never going away completely. Quite different in a positive way. Texas litigation is sold by Berry Bros and Roz, I believe, Balcones, or at least from TX. Okay. That's quite exciting, actually. Right. There I am. Hi. Nice. Hi. I'm going to call it a night there. Right, this was a little bit different. I thought it would be a bit of fun. It's been nice kind of seeing what other people's engagement with this is. I'm going to do a few more of these, I think, throughout the course of the week as well, just to kind of like sort of get into them and make the most of lives while I can, because obviously I'll be heading back to work. I mean, I don't actually know when, but I'm assuming soon. Could be later. I don't know. So I'm just gonna make the most of it. But this seemed like a fun little way to do a live. My voice has lasted a bit longer this time because normally after an hour it's really straining. So that's exciting. What I will say is thank you everyone who's joined in today. Thank you everyone for their suggestions. I think when I do these again, I'll do the Johnny Walker Core range for one, because that's a bit of fun, isn't it? But there's lots of other things that I could look into. Gins, American whiskies, Japanese whiskey. Keep my eye on other websites as well that do reviews and stuff. But it's a bit of fun to kind of like look at people's opinions on these that aren't just mine, and give them a bit of a voice as well. And it's nice to see how varied they can be. You go on one page and you see a really bad review and a really good review, and you're like, well, which is it? And the answer is they're both valid. I mean, some of the reviews we've seen today are bullshit. Either because they're clearly plants, or they just obviously don't know what they're talking about. And they kind of make themselves, they show themselves up, don't they? But yeah, this has been fun. I've enjoyed this. I kind of want to get to around 3 hours and 30 minutes, but I think I'm just going to be dragging this on for. Do you know what? We'll do one more to finish off. Let's find something that's a bit fun. Is this interesting yet? Right, I'll tell you what, let's go with the most popular lowland, which is Auchentoshan 3 Wood. One more, John, one more. There it is, £43.75. 4 out of 5 stars. A lowland single malt matured in 3 different casks, namely Pedro Jimenez, bourbon cask, and Oloroso sherry cask, a distinctive triple distilled whiskey from Auchentoshan. Auchentoshan's an odd one. I've liked some of the stuff they do. I've despised some of the stuff they do. It's a touch all over the place, Auchentoshan. But though on the whole, actually, very positive reviews. Let's read a good. 3 Wood is a standout taste on this one here. My son bought me a 3 taste pack: American Oak, 3 Wood, and a 12-year-old. The 3 Wood had no age declared. Gives a rich toffee caramel aroma and taste. The smell delivers the taste. Would not be disappointed in a full bottle, son. Hint, hint. 1.5 stars here. Good if you like cognac smell in your whiskey, but not for me. Was hoping that this is good after seeing the good reviews here. Got a bottle on sale and started tasting it. Nose is very sherry forward with very predominant note of cognac and armagnac. Taste is quite intense with lots of dark fruits. Finish is peppery but not too long. Personally, not to my liking, as I don't like the cognac taste. Another good one below it, one of the best. With every bottle, this slowly makes its way up to the top spot. Such a lovely, deep, sweet, and complex dram, and a total wonder of a lowland malt. Definitely leans towards the bourbon, just giving your glass a whiff after you've finished it, and it smells unbelievable, like a smoky wood cabin. Lots of really glowing things to say about this one, actually. I'm a little bit surprised. 3 stars here, middle of the road. Would you? Yay. This is nice, but it's in the name. It's quite oaky. Did get the sweetness and slightly bitter aftertaste. Good as an unaged statement for drinking, not keeping. Well, yeah. That's kind of the point of whiskey. Loads of 5 stars. Loads of 5s. Lovely dram, very nice, full of flavour and dark body to it. Excellent value and a very nice sip and savour. A real quality dram, this one. Auchentoshan fantastic. A must-try fantastic dram of woodland and dark berries, all nicely balanced. Half star here, not good, really disappointing, no balance and sadly an unpleasant taste all round. Seems to be trying too hard as a big bruising whiskey it never should or can be. Oh, and then there's a few negatives down here actually. Half star, minty and oxidized. I bought a bottle of this whiskey in February. I thought it was an okay whiskey. I probably would have given it 3 stars. However, I had a glass last night. The bottle is still over halfway full and it's been stored in my drinks cabinet, and it was very heavily oxidized, almost like drinking sherry. Not in a good way. I'm going to have to pour the bottle away. None of the other whiskies I bought in the same time have had this issue, so it comes to reason that this is a problem with the bottle. Very disappointing. Mike W. 1 star, good taste but horrible finish. I like the taste, but then I swallowed my it. Okay. The finish on this is like drinking rubbing alcohol. I was not impressed and would not drink this again. Another one here, not one I will try again. Nose, alcohol, bourbon bite. Took a long time to develop. Vanilla citrus, hint of black plum. Burnt brown sugar, little smoke. Taste, bourbon bite, not nice. Honey, oaky, very little peat or smoke. Finish, long, oily, way too much bourbon-like. So they were expecting this to be smoky? Okay. Are they one of these people that think all whiskey is smoky? And half star. Poor alcohol taste, nothing common with 3 wood. The whiskey was a big misunderstanding. Nothing common with good whiskey. Triple wood is just a trick to buy it. Taste is very weak. Spelled weak wrong. Barely noticeable, mostly like alcohol or poor quality moonshine. I have no idea how the others taste, and superstitionized it, but I find it either very bad or someone released bad batch on the marked. I always find it hard to take a review seriously if the spelling is just atrocious. Is that a snobbery? Yeah, but at the same time, if you're writing something, you should be able to write. I'm going to finish on a 5 because actually most people have been very complimentary about this. 5 stars, best tasting scotch for non-peaters. I like smoky peat flavours sometimes, but Auchentoshan 3 wood is the best scotch I've ever tried for the taste. Rich, sweet, smooth, complex, toffee dark fruits, nice wood flavours, very refined. Best of all, best of the best taste-wise. Others, especially Isla's, may deliver a big punch with more warmth and stronger buzz, but for straight-up refined taste, with no peat that is, this is absolutely my favourite, and you would have to pay much more to top this. I pay around $60, give or take. Wish I could find it $15 less, so I could drink it more. Don't get me wrong, this gives you a nice buzz, but maybe it's the triple distillation. It just doesn't seem to hit me like Lafroig 10-year. The Auchentoshan 3 wood, ATW, is 12-year, I believe. 10 years in bourbon cask and 1 each in Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez. There's no declaration for that assertion. Absolute perfection for the price. Still should be a bit less, as all these malts should be. It's criminal that poor people can't drink them when they need them most. Fair enough. Right. And with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. Like I said, I'll look to doing some more of these. Feel free to leave a comment down on the community tab if you want, to what other themes I should look into for sort of looking at reviews. I will go and invest in a comb at some point, although, I mean, barbers are going to be opening fairly soon, so although you're a masochist for doing 3 hours streaming, your throat will be raw tomorrow. Yeah, I know, right? Thanks for the stream. You're very welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for taking part, and thank you for your recommendations as well. I'm going to go and get myself a Horlicks, I think. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me, guys, and I will see you again on the next live stream.